wake up fact check.
And I was saying, but shade the and then slice them, put them in the and put honey with it, put it in the pot, boiled it for 15 minutes, and then
Shabbat Shalom. Allison, Kathy, Shabbat Shalom. Allison, when you gonna make it over here, girl? We waiting for you, daughter. Hallelujah.
Are you sitting by your Isha? Here.
that's a new name. Here.
Why you always laughing at me, babe?
Because he just zoomed right in on me.
Always mess with me.
I was laughing at my sister, not you.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
You're mess withable.
Yes. You're mess withable.
David's the same thing. Bring it over and over. I don't know how to do that. Do you got a song?
Shalom, Malak.
Oh, you printed it out?
Yeah, but it didn't print out well.
And I forgot to print mine out.
Shalom.
Here, it didn't print out well. It looked like it only did Noah and Abraham.
You do the last one?
It didn't do the next one.
It didn't come up. It didn't come up on the on the email. Yeah, the last two didn't come up. Yeah, it didn't come up.
Yeah.
I got the full one.
You got the full
What
one?
was the date on the one you got?
I don't remember.
I thought I sent everybody the same one in the same email. I thought I sent it with the same.
Yeah, it was in the same email, but when I printed, that's all that printed, just those two. But I didn't look at it.
I know the picture was like.
I know you sent it out twice. You sent one the first week.
Yeah, and then I sent the whole thing the second time.
Yeah,
And
it
that's for the
did.
first one.
Oh, maybe I did the wrong with it.
I don't know. Print out? Oh, that's what that was. I'm gonna put it on here.
I'll print it out again.
Okay, yeah, this is that.
Do you have an extra printout?
Oh, I didn't print them. I don't.
No, I had printed on and they have,
Yeah.
it's only two things that didn't do all of them. I thought I was getting all of
Oh,
it.
y'all learned a copy?
There we go.
I'll bring them next time, because they didn't print, it only printed two things
Oh,
off.
right, just that.
Yeah, it only did Abraham and Noah.
Noah.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, Adam.
Wait a minute.
It did Adam and Noah, right?
Adam and Noah, that
And
was
not
it.
Abraham.
It didn't do Abraham.
Didn't do the form.
I'll
No,
print it.
Abraham's in here.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, Abraham's in.
Okay, well, it didn't go
It just didn't do
down past
Moses.
that.
So we know.
Good.
Oh, yes,
We had her infusion yesterday.
yeah.
No, she's doing better.
trying to do it. Boy, that had me up there. I was pushing the microwave like.
Enter his gates with thanksgiving and enter his courts with praise.
Hallelujah.
Worthy is worthy.
Glory. Glory to God. Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah, family.
Hallelujah.
We know this has been a rough week today. We know that things are going on like you said was going to go down. But without you, Father, there's no other Elohim.
Yes.
There's Elohim of righteousness.
Yes.
Elohim of judgment.
Yes.
Elohim of continuous peace.
Hallelujah.
Father, we know throughout this time, Father, we bless you.
Yes.
Open our eyes.
Yes.
And let our limbs work, Father.
Thank you.
Hear your word, Father.
Yes.
And we just want to give you, we just want to say hallelujah to you.
Hallelujah.
These days are wicked and evil and tempted. You just have mercy on the soul.
Yes.
And give us grace.
Yes.
And give us understanding to your word that come forth from will, Father. That these covenants, Father, that pertain to us and only us, that we'll be obedient to your word. That when we pass underneath our rod, Father, that we be the rod. And that we judge the people according to your laws.
Thank you, Abba.
Father, we know that your word is righteous.
Yes.
Just continue to be healing in this land, Father.
Yes.
When we were down here earlier, Father, that we talking about healing each other by the word of your truth, Father. Continue to be in your truth and be giving you more understanding and more revelation to your word. That will be more obedient to your voice and be more sensitive to your word. Father, we just pray that you hear the patience of your saints, Father, that guard the commandments.
Thank you,
and believe in the hummus. We know in all things, Father, the spirit and truth. And that we just want to say hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Just to know your name is a blessing. Oh, Yahuwah, my King, you are worthy. Just to know your name is a blessing. Oh, Yahuwah, my King, you are worthy. Just to know your name is a blessing. Oh, Yahuwah, my King, you are worthy. Just to know your name is a blessing. Oh, Yahuwah, my King, you are worthy. Hallelujah. Just to know your name is a blessing. Oh, Yahuwah, my King, you are worthy. That was just on my heart today. That was my worship to my King, to the King of Kings, to the Adonais of Adonais. The Most High Yah. We know that we are in a season of war right now. But in order for us to go to war, we have to have a clean heart. We can't enter into war with an impure heart. We can't enter into war without asking for the Most High to cleanse us and to cleanse our minds, to cleanse our souls, and to cleanse our spirit, to cleanse us as a family. So my testimony today to the Most High is to just give me a clean heart so I can serve you. Search me and purge me so I can hear you. So I can live how you want me to live. So I can be how you want me to be. So I can speak how you want me to speak, Abba Yah. And Abba Yah, I thank you. I thank you for my family. I thank you for all the prayer warriors in my family. I thank you for just knowing your name and knowing who you are and knowing that you are my king, because without you, I wouldn't even be able to give a testimony of who you are. So I thank you for me being a living and walking and talking testimony, Abba Yah. If I don't live right, if I don't speak right, if I don't treat my brother right, Abba Yah, then I don't represent you. So I just ask, Abba Yah, that you just come into this place and be in each and every one of us, and just give us a clean heart that we may serve you. So when others see us, Abba Yah, they see you, Abba Yah. Yes. Let no evil thing come out of our mouth. Let no evil expression be on our face. Let no evil thing be in our spirit, because we know that that's seen also. You can see the spirit of man just by looking at them. So Abba Yah, just thank you that each and every one of us here, that we're striving to just be who you want us to be. I thank you. I give you all the glory, the honor, and the praise, because you so rightfully deserve it, Abba Yah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yahuwah utters his voice. You know what?
Arise, shine, for the light is come. Arise, shine, for the light is come. And it goes, and the glory of Yahuwah, the glory of Yahuwah is risen. The glory of Yahuwah is come. The glory of Yahuwah is risen upon me.
It must be hashtag wartime. Gotta put that on.
That's right.
Hallelujah.
All
All right, bro, we'll be ready for your scripture.
Yes, Psalm 93, Psalm 92. All right. Psalm 92.
We ain't forget about it.
Okay.
We ain't forget about it.
Enter in with praise.
We just going where the spirit goes.
You war, absolutely.
Hashtag wartime.
Hashtag wartime.
Hallelujah.
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 It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yahuwah and to sing praises unto his name, O the Most High. To show forth thy love kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. Upon an instrument of 10 strings and upon the sorceries, upon the harps with a solemn sound. For thou, O Yahuwah, has made me glad through thy works. I will triumph in thy works of thy hand. O Yahuwah, how great are thy works, and how thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither does a fool understand this. When the wicked springs as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is what they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, O Yahuwah, art the most high forevermore.
Yes.
For lo, thy enemies, O Yahuwah, for lo, thy enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. Yes. But my horn should thou exalt like the horn of the unicorn. I should be anointed with fresh oil. My eyes also should see my desires on my enemies. And my ears shall hear my desires on the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm trees. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yahuwah shall flourish in the courts of our Elohim. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. Yes. They should be fat and flourishing. Yes. To show that Yahuwah is upright, he is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Big brother, can I have that green chair? That I could put my stuff on it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's perfect.
You know, I was thinking about that song.
You added it today?
When Yah parted the Red Sea, and they sing a song about how he swallowed up his enemies.
Yeah.
Isn't that something how he just continued if we don't have nothing to say, we could sing a song about what he has done.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
No, let the earth help the woman.
Yep.
And it swallowed up
the flood.
And anyone that contends against Moses with Korah, the earth opened up its mouth and swallowed them up.
Look, that's all up.
No.
Having more than once, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Having more than once.
Hey. This thing is severe, man. Oh, praise y'all.
All right, so we're gonna continue with the Abrahamic Covenant. I'm gonna take a little bit of a left turn, but then we're gonna get back on track.
All right.
Ezekiel 20:37. You don't have to turn there, but if you want to, and I will cause you to pass under the rod and bring you into the bond of the covenant. So that's our ultimate goal after the wilderness, is to pass under that rod. And to pass under that rod without a spot, wrinkle, without a blemish, to pass under that rod. That's the only way you're going to be accepted. Jeremiah 10:16. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. So, like we've been talking about, once you pass under the rod, you become the rod. So you become the Most High's judgment.
Right? What I want to do is I want to go to Exodus 4. We're going to read through Exodus 4. We're going to talk about somebody that became the rod. Because I want to illustrate someone becoming the rod, someone becoming his judgment. So you can see it in script. So it's just not me saying it, so you can see it. So Exodus 4, starting at verse 1. And we're gonna go mostly through this, so if I can have one reader, that would be good.
Con, I can read it.
Alright.
You got it?
Oh, you want to do it?
Okay. Exodus 4.
Exodus 4, starting at verse 1.
I know exactly where you're going.
Cons? Okay. And Moses answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto me, unto my voice. But they will say, Yahuwah has not appeared unto thee.
All right, stop there. So this is right after the Most High appeared to Moses, or the angel of the Lord appeared to Moses and told him what he needed to do. And this is Moses doubting himself, saying, like, they're not going to listen to me. They're not going to listen to me. At this point, Moses is looking at his physical being of what he can do. He's looking at his physical limitations of what he can do. And he's saying, they're not going to listen to me. I'm not going to be able to do this job. This is too much for me. Go ahead.
And Yahuwah said unto him, What is that in thy hand? And he said, A rod.
Stop there. Whoa. What did he say to Moses? He said, what is that in your hand? All right, what is that in your hand? And he said, a what?
A rod.
A rod. And what is a rod used for?
Comfort, correction.
Yep. Think about a shepherd.
Right.
He already said, I already gave you what you need. You already have in your hand what you need. You don't need anything else. You already got it in your hand. I already made you this. You're already that rod. You're already that comfort. You're already that judgment. You're already that gatherer. You're already all of those things. I already made you that. You don't need nothing else.
That's I want to say something
Now restrain yourself. Good. Keep going. Verse 3.
And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses flew from before it.
Now, Moses at this point doesn't understand his own gift that the Most High gave him. Moses isn't understanding the power the Most High has put in him already. So he threw it on the ground and became a serpent, and Moses ran. He ran from it. He was like, whoa! Because he ain't never seen nothing like that before. Because he wasn't aware of the power the Most High gave him. Most High gave him the rod. He gave him the rod already. He made him who he needed to be. Keep going.
And Yahuwah said unto Moses, Put forth thy hand, and take it by thy tail. And he put forth his hand, and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand.
Now, go ahead, stop there. What does he tell us about serpents? What does he tell us? That we'll be able to do what? Right. We'll have power over them. Because if you tread on something, you have power over it. Correct? So he told us we'll have power over those serpents. Remember, this is going to harken all the way back to what he told Adam. Dominion, fish of the sea, fowl of the air, and every creeping thing upon the earth. It's harkening back to that. So when he threw that rod down and became a snake, he got frightened. But he had power over that snake. He had power over the rod. Keep going.
That they may believe that Yahuwah, Elohim of their fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob, has appeared unto thee. And Yahuwah shall furthermore unto him put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, Put thy hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hands into his bosoms again, and plucked it out of his bosoms, and behold, it had turned again to its other flesh.
Now, this is important because he's showing Moses the power that he has, right, over all flesh, right? This is going to be important as we go down because Moses is going to still doubt him. He's going to still doubt what he's going to be able to do. All right, so this is showing that power. And if you notice that when he took his hand out, it was what? Leprous as? So his hand turned.
Right.
Yeah.
So it couldn't have been white.
That wouldn't have made sense. It wouldn't have made sense if he turned it out. It was white when it went in and white when it came out. That ain't no miracle. Keep going, Baruch.
Okay.
That ain't no miracle.
And it should come to pass
That's
if
a
they,
that's a junkie stunt for real. They lied.
and if it shall come to pass, if they will not believe thee, neither hearken to thy voice of thy first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign.
Now, he's saying to him, the Most High already knows what he's going to do with Moses, and he knows how far it's going to have to go. The first sign was the throwing down of the rod turning into a snake. What was the latter sign that he gave? What was the latter sign? No, what was the latter sign? Think about when they get... What did he do? The firstborn. He killed all the firstborn. So what he's telling you, Moses, is they may not believe your first sign, but that latter sign, they're going to believe me. When I perform that latter sign, they're going to believe me.
It heads close to the heart there. Family.
That's right. Keep going,
He's
Baruch.
telling us what's going to happen too.
Yeah.
And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto thy voice, that thou should take the water of the river and pull it upon thy dry land, and the water which thou takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land.
Right.
And,
keep going.
And Moses said unto Yahuwah, O my Elonai, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and slow of tongue.
All right, so Moses is still, even after all of this, he turned it into a serpent, turned the rod into a serpent, turned the water into blood. Even after all this, Moses is trusting in himself. He's saying, I'm slow of speech, you're not going to listen to me. All right, they're not going to follow me. What I want us to get out of this is when Yah makes a covenant with you, when Yah makes a covenant with you, do not look at what you're able to do. Do not look at those things that appear impossible. When Yah makes a covenant with you, that covenant will come to pass. All right, he's making a covenant with us. He's bringing us back under to the covenant. So the stuff that we see around us, the chaos that we see, this country, the power of this country, nuclear bombs, jets, submarines, super soldiers, all of that means nothing. That means nothing to the Most High. It's a drop in the bucket. It's an ant in your palm of your hand. It's all of those things. It's nothing to him. And that's what he's showing Moses. That when I made a covenant with you, when you saw that burning bush, I made that covenant with you. Everything I say is going to come to pass. And it's not because of you.
Right. Exactly.
Not because of your slow tongue or your whatever. It's not because of you. Keep reading Baruch verse 11.
Okay. And Yahuwah said unto him, Who hath made man's mouth? Or who maketh the dumb, or deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Have not I, Abba Yahuwah?
So he's getting a little frustrated with him. He's like, wait a minute, I just did all of this. I turned your hand white, I put the thing, you made it a snake, turned the water into blood. You don't think I can touch your tongue?
And plus I made your tongue.
And I made that thing. So if I want to make you be, like I can make you say the most eloquent words you want to say. I made you. I made all of these things. I have power over those things.
So it's almost like he's telling them straight up not to doubt the ability of him that is within him.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Makes sense.
Like you're still looking at what you can do in your power. You're still looking at that. I made a covenant with you. It's beyond you right now.
Right.
My people are getting out of Egypt. My people are going to get out of Egypt, and you're going to do it. So it's beyond you at this point. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you can do. It's beyond you. This is happening. So get on board because this is happening. It's going to happen. My people are getting out of Egypt, and I'm using you. And that's basically the message. People are getting out of Egypt, and I'm going to use you to do it, whether you think you can do it or not.
And also when the Spirit of God come upon you,
it will empower you to do wonders, no matter who you are.
Right, no matter who you
how
are.
feeble
Right.
you are, how weak you are, because the Spirit of God
But
will energize you.
the key
empower
is, though, here's the key. You have to do. The key is you have to do. You're not, when the Spirit comes upon you, you're not going to go from fearful to being able to do it. You have to take that step. You have to take that initial step to do it. And that's what he's telling Moses. Like, I'll cover everything, but you need to go into Pharaoh. I'll cover all this stuff, but you need to actually go. All right? That's the only way I'm going to demonstrate my power is when you go. If you're in your house, you're in your abode, you're not going to see that power, and that power is not going to be demonstrated. The power is only going to be demonstrated when you take that step and you go. Yeah. Keep going, Baruch.
Now therefore go, and I will be thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say. And he said, O my Yah, send my prayer thee by hand of him whom thou wilt send.
All right, so now she's telling him to send someone else, basically. Moses is saying, can you just send someone else? Because I don't think I can do this.
I like your confidence.
Yep, Yah's getting a little...
The stake is too hard to carry.
Yeah, he's getting a little... And just look where Moses started and where he ended. And I think you got to keep that in mind. Look where he started and where he ended before he transgressed. But all through that time, he demonstrated the power of Yah all through that time. But he had to get over this part. He had to get over that beginning part. Because he's at, I think he's 75 at this time.
Yeah.
He's like something like that. Wow. And he had to flee back to his own land, and then he had to come back after all those people had passed away. All right, so Moses is not trusting, he's like, I'm 75 years old. You need to get one of them young cats to do this. I'm not going to be able to get this.
I was king for 40 years.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this.
I was in prison for 10 years.
I need one of these young cats. You need to get one of these 20-year-olds. They'll be able to do it. Keep going.
And the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against Moses. And he said, is not Aaron thou Levi thy brother? I know that he speaks well, and also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee. And when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart.
All right, stop. All right, keep reading the next. Read 15 too.
And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth, and with thy mouth, and I will teach you what you shall do.
All right, so why do you think at this point he didn't just touch Moses' mouth to make Moses to be able to speak? Why do you think he used Aaron?
I know in the word he always used two.
Yeah.
Okay, you're getting close.
Because of him being Levite?
Huh? They're both Levites.
They're brothers. Oh.
Why did he touch Aaron?
Because Moses doubted.
Nah, because Moses is the youngest.
Why did he touch Aaron and not just say, Moses, I'm going to fix this for you?
Yeah.
Because he needed Moses to still see.
Who did Aaron represent?
The priest.
Who's Aaron representing? Aaron is the mouthpiece. He is the Word. He is the Word.
Right,
Aaron is representing the Word. And who is Moses going to represent in this scenario?
Elohim.
The Elohim.
Right.
When we get to the end, it's going to be clear.
Yes,
when we get to the end, it's going to be
I didn't
clear.
want to say that because I know it's that.
When we get to the end, it's going to be clear. But in this instance, Aaron is representing the Word.
Yeah.
And Moses is representing Elohim. And he's going to tell us at the end. You're going to find out. Keep going.
Keep going.
Yep.
And he shall be for a spokesman unto thy people, and he shall be even he shall be with thee instead of a mouth, and thou should be to him instead of an Elohim. It says it right there.
There you go. So Moses is standing in the place of God, or Elohim, or Yah, and Aaron is the place of the Word.
Wow.
That's why he did it that way. He did it that way because he wanted to show us, what do we talk about? His pattern. This is his pattern of operation. There's two. We talked earlier about there being three. There is not three. The two become one. And that is demonstrated all throughout Scripture. There is no three becoming one. It's the two becoming one. And he's demonstrated it over and over and over again.
A lot of people don't know this, but why Moses' mouth got that way, because when he was a baby, and they wanted to see the Moses had took the crown off of the Pharaoh's head. So they said, well, we're gonna treat it a baby, because the baby wouldn't know the difference between a hot piece of coal. So they handed it to Moses, and Moses took it and put it in his mouth, and then they said, see, he is just a kid. He doesn't have any power, and that hurt his tongue that he couldn't speak very well.
What book is that in?
That's the book of Joshua.
Joshua. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, I'm looking at this translation. There are other translations that will literally say he will look at you as God. You will be God to him.
Yeah, you will be God to him. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that was the whole intent. The whole intent was to show, he's showing his work, and he's showing his work through a pattern of his operation. You have the Word and you have the Elohim from the beginning. You've had those two from the beginning, and he's just showing it again and again. Keep reading, Baruch. Go ahead.
Real quick, what Baruch just said just puts me in the mind of, like, why would Elohim allow Moses' mouth to be hurt as a youth? I imagine it was in his youth. I've never read it. But then it makes me think about all the things that we go through, and the trials that we go through is for a reason that we might not see initially, but it's something that y'all can use later on to bring about his purpose and his plan. We despise these things, you know, the thorns in our sides, the trials and tribulations, but they actually have a purpose.
Just like the man that was born blind. And they said it wasn't because of sin, but it was to glorify the Most High, like his power.
Absolutely.
And also, I'm going back to tradition. In Africa, right? In Africa, he has a king and a linguist. A king never speak. When you go to public places, it's a linguist who speak. He represents the chief.
He represents.
So he say everything. Whatever he says, final. And he, as God is saying, Moses, you are God.
Right.
So my word is within you. So it was used an object to demonstrate the power of God.
Yeah.
And this can bring my mind to it comes to tradition. The king and the chief. A Shanti king, he never speak, he not talk in public. The request will stand up, every place will be quiet.
Right. Because he speaks for the king, right? He speaks the words for the king. Yeah, he's the mouthpiece. Read one more verse 17, and we're done with this.
And thou should take this rod in thy hand, wherewith thou should do signs.
Last question. Why did he give him Aaron's rod?
Because it budded.
Not at this point. It didn't bud at this point. Why was he using Aaron's rod to do all the signs?
Aaron was a Levite.
They both were Levites.
They was brothers.
Yep, they were both Levites.
Because it represents Yeshua.
Exactly. Because whose rod are we passing under?
Yeshua.
We're passing under Yeshua's rod. And Aaron became the Word, and then the rod was Yeshua's. Yep. He gave, yep, absolutely. All right. All right, good. That was a sidebar, but I think it was important to kind of put this point that, you know, when we pass under that covenant, we're not going to be the same people we are here with all our infirmities. And even with those things that we look at and we say that we can't do, and we look at this country, the power of this country, all the things going on, doctors are saying one thing, the lawyers are saying another thing, politicians are saying things. We have to know if he's called us to do a job, he's going to give us the means to do it, he's going to give us the power to do it, he's going to give us the words to say. You don't have to worry about any of those things. Those things are trivial things to him, because all of this is his footstool, right? He runs all of this. So whatever he gives us to do, if it's truly him, you'll know by the result. You'll know by the result if it's truly him. If you are doing what Yah's telling you to do, you'll know by the result. Because his word will not come back void, ever. It won't come back void, it'll come to pass. So that which he sets out will accomplish its purpose. Okay? All right.
That's almost like why he told Moses, you're going to do this.
All right, so just to recap a little bit. We started at Genesis 12, 1 through 4. And I'm just going to read through the script 1 through 4 so we can recap of what Yahuwah told Abram. And at this time, his name was Abram. Now Yahuwah said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. Now, the key here is get from thy kindred, right? Get away from thy kindred, right? That's the key to this whole thing. Get away from all of that. Slash this. And I will make thee a great nation. So it's contingent on those things. The covenant is contingent on those things that he told Abram. And I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and I will make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. So he's going to make him a great name, he's going to bless thee, and he's going to make thy name great. Great nation, bless thee, and make thy name great. And if you look at it, all of those things came to pass when it concerned Abram. Because if you look at the so-called top religions in the world, all three of them call Abraham father, right? They call him father, and I don't know if anybody has a bad word to say about Abraham. Nobody has nothing. There's a good. It's always a good report. If you're talking to a Muslim brother, he's got a good report about Abraham. If you're talking to a Christian brother, he's got a good point. He's got a good report about Abraham, right? There's always a good report about Abraham. His name became a great name. Almost beyond reproach. He is the only one that they call father, that anyone calls father. Right? He's the only one that anyone refers to as Father Abraham. It's not Father Moses. It's not Father Joseph. It's not Father Jacob. It's Father Abraham. Right. And I will bless them that bless thee, curse him that curse thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. We talked about that word Adama, and how that word Adama is different from Eretz. Eretz means the whole earth. Adama means the tilled ground. And we talked about the difference between the tilled ground and the whole earth. So that they use that word Adama purposely here. It's not Eretz, because Eretz would mean the whole earth. He is talking about that the families of the tilled ground will be blessed through Abraham.
Because remember, y'all had cursed the earth.
Absolutely.
It said, thorns and thistles shall it bring forth unto you. And if you go to Samuel, it talks about those thorns and thistles being the son of Belial, which are the demons and devils.
Exactly.
That, because of disobedience, had opened up into the earth.
Right, and that's what he called Adam to do, right? He called Adam to come and till the ground. Right.
Or the ground.
Yes, and make the ground, prepare the ground for who?
Right.
So he could meet with you in the afternoon, right? In the cool of the day. Right, so he prepared the ground for that, and that's what the Adama means. And that's H127 in Strong's if you want to look so compelled to look it up. So Abram departed as Yahuwah had spoken unto him, and Lot went with them. So Abram departed as Yahuwah had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. What problem do I see here? And Lot went with him. Right? And Lot went with him. Wait a minute. He says, separate yourself from your kindred, right? Is Lot one of his kindred?
Yes.
Did he separate himself from him? No, he did not. Remember, the covenant was contingent on Abram following those directions. And you're going to see as we go through this, there's going to be a little bit of a hold-up before he actually shows Abram the land. And the hold-up's name is Lot. That's going to be the hold-up. Even though Lot... Oh, somebody had... Oh, okay.
I was just saying when
I was going to say, tell me when you're ready.
Even though Lot was his kindred, Lot wasn't like Abram.
That's right.
All right? Lot was not like Abram. That's another thing that we have to be weary of. There may be a time where we have to separate from kin, from our kindred, from our family, and we don't want to do it. But we know we got to do it because that's how we're going to get to that place that the Most High is bringing us to. That's how we're getting to that place. We're not going to get to that place bringing Lot with us. And the name Lot, if you're so compelled, it's H3876. It means veil or covering. So if you bring that veil or that covering with you, you won't see the Most High. All right? And what has to happen to that veil? It has to be rent. It has to be torn into two. And then that's how you have access to the Holy of Holies. Remember, you couldn't access the Holy of Holies only through the high priest until that veil was rent, or until Lot was out of the way. And that's when Abram was able to view the Holy of Holies. Okay? You had to get Lot out of the way. And you're going to see, although Lot is a righteous man, because it calls him a righteous man in Scripture, he gets changed from his environment. All right. Genesis 12:5. And Abram took Sarai, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. Into the land of Canaan they came. All right, so he took his wife, he took all his stuff, all his house. When you talk about a man's house, you're talking about their servants, their cattle, their animals, everything. They take everything with them. So when you talk about his house, he's taking everything with him. So he brought his whole house. Now, Lot's not necessarily part of his house, though. But he did bring Lot with him. If someone can look up the word Haran for me in Strong's, I want to go back to that. If someone can do that real quick. All right, so then they went into the land of Canaan. And why is it called the land of Canaan at this point? Does anybody know?
Canaan take it over?
Yeah, what? You're right on it. Because who lived there? Canaanites. Was that the land that was allotted to them or given to them?
It was given to Shem.
It was given to Shem. But the Canaanites came to live in that land. And that land became referred to as Canaan. Because they lived there so long. You got to remember, from Shem, and we're going to talk more about this, from Shem to Abraham was 10 generations. So Shem was promised the land 10 generations ago, and we're still not in that land. Okay? Shem was promised that land 10 generations ago.
At the time, God told Abraham to take the land. Was Shem living there, or Shem has gone already?
I think Shem was gone by that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why God said, Japheth should go and occupy the tent of Shem. Right?
He made a promise to Shem.
Where did they go?
Where did Shem go?
Yeah.
Shem died. Oh, yeah. Shem was in the land Shem was in the land, but eventually he died off and the Canaanites came into the land. I think it's in Jubilees. Yeah. I think it's in Jubilees where it talks about where the Canaanites started to settle in the land that wasn't there. And I don't know who said to him. Someone said to him.
Abraham told Cain.
Was it Abraham?
I thought it was Ham told his son.
I think it was Ham told him that's not your land.
Yeah, he told him.
Yeah, don't settle on that land. That's not your land.
Right. And
yeah.
he did it anyway.
And they settled there anyway.
Okay. You want to know about Haran?
Yep.
Haran, mountaineer. Haran, the name of two men.
Okay. So, mountaineer or mountain or someone who climbs a mountain. Okay. So, Abram had to go from Ur of the Chaldeans to the mountain. He had to. When he got to the top of the mountain, he got instructions, right? Right? Who does that sound like?
Moses.
Sounds like Moses, doesn't it? Sounds a lot like what happened with Moses. He had to leave, he got to the mountaintop, he got his instructions at the mountaintop. Same thing. Same pattern.
And that word for Haran, if you take it to the primary root is Karan, and it means to glow, literally to melt, to burn, to dry up, or figuratively to show or to incite passion. Be angry, burn, dry, and kindle.
Quran with a K or a C?
This one is which one?
CH.
The first one.
Quran, the word Quran.
Charan, CH.
CHARAR.
And what is that? What Strong's is that? H
This
what?
is 8. The first one he got to You
Yeah,
got
he
the
got
first
that.
one?
Yeah, he did that.
All right, the first one. This one right here is H2787.
H27.
2787.
And that's the it's the primitive root to the first one.
All right, let's turn to Exodus 13:11.
But it's almost like he's giving you a furtherance of understanding of what he was going to do when the children of Israel came out.
Yes,
You're
going to find absolutely.
Oh man, I'm
absolutely almost.
Man. I don't want to punch in your stomach.
It's the same places. It's almost the exact same places that they went when they came out of Egypt. And you're going to find something with Abram. Abram's going to go to Egypt just like and come out of Egypt the same way.
And Hamashiach, same thing.
Yeah. Moses, Hamashiach. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is there any significance to the fact that he bought the burial place for his wife there in that land too?
No, that was in Hebron.
That's in Hebron.
That's in Hebron. We're going to get to Hebron. Hebron's a good one too. Yep. But that's in Hebron, yes. Because that's where they're all supposed to be buried in that cave. Because remember, when they left Egypt, they all desired, all of the patriarchs desired to be buried with the fathers in the cave. All right.
So why does he say when God always says he was buried, died in good old age, and he was buried with his people?
Was buried with his father.
So that's what he's talking about.
That's
That
what
they
he's
went
talking
into
about.
this cave.
And there's a reason why they were buried in Hebron too. We'll get there.
Oh man, we're gonna say that today too.
Hopefully we can get there.
Exodus what?
13:11.
13:11.
All right, who's got that for me?
And it shall be when Yahuwah shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, as he swore unto thee and to thy fathers, and shall give it to thee.
All right, so same thing. So even after Abraham, and I don't know how many generations Moses is after Abraham, forgive me, but I don't know how many generations that is.
From where?
From Abraham to Moses. I'm not sure how many generations
14?
that is. I don't know if it's that many.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can check.
It's about 14, 15 generations.
It might, yeah. So I'm not sure how many generations that is, but that same promise that was given to Abraham, he's repeating that same promise to Moses about the land of Canaan. So remember those promises, and I just want to show that those promises run through the whole script. Okay? He didn't he didn't say this to Abram, and then when he got to Moses, he forgot about it. He gave him that same promise. Okay? And remember, in this, you are your forefathers, or you are your descendants. So if your descendants get it, you get it, right? So you got to look at it that way. You have to look at it that way, that if he promised it to Abram, if he promised it to Shem, if their descendants get it, they get it. It's the same. Because you are your descendants and you are your forefathers.
Yeah.
So this applies to us now. When you are cursed, like for instance, if somebody cursed me and the curse didn't come to me, my descendant will get it. The curse.
They could. Yeah, absolutely. We see that all the time. I was talking when we were down here talking, when the men were down here talking, I was reading the 12 patriarchs, and I was reading about Judah. And Judah warns in his testament that there's two spirits that Judah should watch out for. Money and women. Look at Judah. Look at Judah.
Money and women.
He warned all the way back then. Look at Judah, and what are two spirits that take us down?
Money and women.
Yeah, we want to womanize, and we want all the money. Any rap video you want to look at, any rap video you want to reference, shows money and women.
Yeah. Me and my sisters, I have 6 sisters, and we believe that we are cursed because of our mother, because she was promiscuous, and she was married to my father, married to my 3 younger sisters' father, but she was very promiscuous, and not one of us out of 7 of us are married.
So that is a generation curse.
Yes, absolutely. There are absolutely generational curses. And then the other thing, just to add on to that, I'm sorry, before I can forget, Judah also said this. He said he wanted to chastise his brother Reuben for what Reuben did. And he said that same spirit jumped on him and he did the same thing to his son. He said he wanted to chastise his brother and that same spirit jumped on him. He did the same thing to his son. He uncovered his son's nakedness while Reuben uncovered his dad's nakedness.
Then you have a long
So
way
that
to go.
same spirit came down the line and hit both of those sons. So those things are real. Those things are real. One thing Yoakai has taught me, you have to pray for the sins of our forefathers. You have to pray for the sins of our forefathers to break those curses that our forefathers and those things that our parents did in secret. Those things we don't know about. You got to break those things. There's so many covenants that have been made in our name. It's like when you have that little baby, right? And everybody's credit's messed up, so you used to put the phone in the little baby's name. You just made a covenant, and then when the baby grows up, what happens? You can't get a phone. So they owe $2,000. And they ain't never had no phone. It's the same thing. You made that covenant in that kid's name, and then when that kid gets older, that kid has to deal with that covenant that you made. They don't want to hear that that wasn't you. In order to get a phone, you better pay that $2,000. If not, you can't get a phone.
I don't know about American culture. I'm talking about Central Africa. I'm coming from Africans. In the olden days, you believe in fetish priests. You go to trees, you worship them. You have a shrine, everything. So your parents, if I don't have a baby as a child, the parents will go to this fetish priest and swear, if you give me a baby, I'll give you this. So we Africans, there's a curses follow us all along.
That sounds like witchcraft.
That's like the grove, right? That's the grove.
So we have to pray all that. I say, God, my fathers, and I pray every day. I fast and pray. Say, God, anything my parents have done that brought me to any shrine, any spirit, anything, God, take it away. I didn't know. Forgive me.
Yes, hallelujah.
And I'm
pray always.
If you
I don't know about
are a black male, I'm going to make a general statement. You deal with the spirit of lust. If you're a black male, you deal with that spirit. You have to fight that spirit as a black male. We have to fight that spirit. That spirit is all over us 24/7. That spirit is on us. We have to fight that spirit. And that's something passed down and passed down and passed down. And now it's so entrenched in our community that there's some things that only go away through fasting and prayer. Fasting and prayer. There's only that's the only way to go at this. All right. Exodus 16:35. Remember, we're just showing the thread of the Most High and His promises and keeping His promises. Okay. Who's got that one? Con? Give him a minute. Give him a second.
Con.
Okay.
And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years until they came to a land inhabited. They did eat manna until they came unto the borders of the land of Canaan.
All right, so we didn't take the fast track there. No. We took the long road. 40 years later, he's still talking about the land of Canaan. So earlier in Exodus, he promised it, and then he's still talking about that same promise. We're at the borders of the land that he promised us. All right? Leviticus 14:34.
What did you say again?
14:34. It's only 4 generations? It's 4 generations. That's between Abraham and Moses, 4 generations.
Is that in between us now?
Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Levi.
Oh,
Abraham, and then Moses.
So
4 to get down to him.
4 generations between us.
Right.
Okay.
Moses is like the 6th generation, so we start counting from
How many generations from 16
our
from 1619 to
Isaac, Jacob, Levi, Cole,
now?
Maybe 4 generations.
Depends on where you,
Seven
how you
generations.
count as
You
generation.
can either
Not
count
count
some
Abraham.
count it 70 years and some
not
count it
Abraham.
like
40,
6.
40, 50.
It's 6.
Yeah.
So 6 generations.
6 generations.
Using what number as a generation?
Say it again.
70.
Using what number as a generation?
That's why I gotta look up that one.
Oh, okay. So it's 70.
When I did the
I'm
ancestry,
looking
I
at the
saw
birth.
about the fifth. My birth.
Yeah,
The
I'm
fifth-
looking at the birth.
It was the 5th generation
We're looking
from.
at birth.
Yeah.
So the sample that I was
Not
making
years,
was
but looking
like
at
mother-
birth.
Yeah, but it has to be the next, like the next line,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Some could have had on as young as 13, and then some waited a little later.
There
So
probably would still be generations if it's like a grandfather, then the
Mm-hmm.
grandchild, and then the
Right.
great grandchild,
Right,
then the
because you're
great
talking about,
great
you're
Right.
talking about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Levi, then Kohath, and Abram, and then Moses. So, yeah, because it's 4 generations between Levi and Moses. You look at it, right?
Yeah, it says 4 generations.
But we'll come back to it. Go ahead.
yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
good
come back
though,
to it.
because I think it's good to kind of know
Yeah, we're in the
like where
ballpark.
people stand. You know what I mean,
Right.
and know
No,
like the gap in time that we're
yeah,
talking.
and
here.
I was just making an example that is that the curses stops with us. It should, because we should be able to be the ones that break the generational curses.
That's a hard one there.
Well, some
See, that's a hard
do,
one.
some
I don't
don't.
know. That's a hard one.
Well, how
I
did it get
don't.
broken?
We would hope they break with us.
We
Well,
should,
I-
but
how
that
would
doesn't
you keep
necessarily
going otherwise?
mean that it will.
Yeah, because you don't. It might have to be our children.
Right.
Well,
And
or it might have to be that next
before we came
generation.
into the truth, we
We done a lot.
worked into,
So-
we walked
Yeah,
in
so
these generational
I don't.
curses.
Yeah, I don't
So
know
that
the answer
can't
to
be
that.
Well,
that's
I
the
can-
fact.
I
And then
can
not
give
only
you an
that,
example.
The person that you're with, that you had a child, did they break their curses from their family?
Right.
Okay,
So,
I can give
yeah,
an
so-
example.
So, excuse me. This is I'm going for nobody should get offended. So all the slaves that came from Africa, they were cursed before they brought them to America, right? All the slaves. That's what
yeah.
They
That's
were
part of the
cursed by
curse.
Yeah, that's why
forefathers
we-
before they
Yeah.
came. So
why we
they,
end up coming.
they never, you
So
couldn't
that
break the
I would
curse.
know that information.
The curse was there before they came.
Well, it wasn't time.
You have to live
I don't know
out
if
the
you
curse.
couldn't break it, but here's what you got to remember. When we migrated from North Africa to some South Africa and then some to West Africa, we were into those different religions along the West. So we picked up some stuff from Egypt, we picked up some stuff from Sudan, we picked up some stuff from wherever.
Assyria,
So
Babylon,
we were
Greece,
doing all of
Spain.
those different things.
Yeah.
So we were continually perpetuating those same curses. As we moved through Africa, we brought those curses with us. Yeah. So we weren't necessarily breaking those curses after we fled Jerusalem. We weren't necessarily breaking those curses. Maybe for a while, but then as we got settled in an area, we started to pick up the customs of those people and started to do those things those people did. And that's perpetuated those curses more and more. So you're right. We were under a curse when we got to West Africa. We were under a curse.
And the people
Or under
didn't-
curses.
The people didn't curse us; we cursed ourselves.
Right.
By
Yes.
walking in.
Right. We
Because there's no
did.
divination against the house.
Exactly.
But
But he
it
did
did
say
us and
too,
our children. That's
they
us
would-
doing it to ourselves.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
also the curses
This
will
is deep.
pursue
You
us.
have to,
So
this is
Chase,
very
no
deep.
matter where we went, it was going to always follow us.
Exactly.
I
We
see
couldn't
what
run
you're
from it.
saying, because now more of us are waking up in the truth, and more of us know. So it begins now with us
Right.
to
That's
pray.
why.
Some curses,
Okay.
though. Not
Right.
all.
I can give an example that I gave to. I
Right.
believe I gave it to you, right? I said, okay, he brought it to my attention about breaking these generational curses.
Mhm.
And then he brought it to my attention just this morning. Look, they're broke. Some of them. Look at Michael, who graduated from high school. Did his father graduate from high school? Nia graduated from college. Did his father get nowhere near college? Both of them, I'll say this one time, I said it twice now, forgive me, Father, I'll say it again. They're very smart. I'm not that smart. Think about that.
Smarter
So,
than you think you are.
it's,
Yeah, he's smarter than you think he
Yeah,
is.
see, now,
Moses.
All
All right,
just about to
Moses.
say,
All right,
Moses.
That's
Moses.
not the point.
Going by the West Trend.
What we're talking about
Social
is
construct.
that I see
Yeah.
I see what happened.
You see some of the curses being broken. You see
Yeah, I
from
say
the
that
results.
too because you look at some of these young black children, these babies that have been born, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, you
God
see
gives
some
them
really
some extra-
smarter than this generation. I've seen that.
We was just talking about that.
I've seen that.
Look at
Absolutely.
your grandson. Go work a
My
phone better than I
grandson is
can.
smarter than my son ever was.
I know. I mean, this is the same thing
Well,
with
they
my
said they
nieces and
wouldn't be
nephews, man. Them
able
kids
to.
are so smart. It's just
He's
like,
only 1.5,
wow,
and he's smarter than me if he ever was.
They can work
Can
electronics.
can I interject something?
Mhm.
Psalm Deuteronomy 30
Mhm.
says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee. That's what we're being reminded, right? The blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and thou shalt return unto the Lord thy God and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul. That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee to, from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the outermost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. And this is the one, wait a minute, no, it's next one. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. Then it says, and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thy enemies,
Yes.
and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
Right.
So is
Yeah.
we're
So
awakened.
So the first part of that is
So-
remembering the curses or
Right.
acknowledging the curses.
Right, right.
Yeah, the curses will come to mind.
That was
Those
the-
curses are
That's
coming
what
to
we're
mind.
talking about.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So
Right.
before we can even step into that covenant,
I promise to.
those curses have to come to mind.
Right.
We start breaking those curses down, and then we repent, we return back to his law, statutes, and commandments, and then we'll be ready to do what? Pass under that rod.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So anybody that
So
says
bring us into the land, and then we can pass under
When
that
this
rod.
comes to
Right.
mind, when this comes to mind, I can say with absolute certainty, Africa cannot be liberated. So voodoo worship is on a rise. Even pastors, the preachers, they say they are pastors, they have gone to all these spiritualists, voodoo, to get something to do to worship God. Because we want the multitude in the church. Because the multitude make money. So all the pastors have something behind. So with all these cases, believe me, if I say Ghana cannot be liberated. Africa as a whole. Because they are in tune to other worship. That's why the fact they go
That's
to
why
church.
I said, well, I didn't say it, but it's someplace, I believe it's in scripture, where he said, that's why Judah is woken first. Because we lost everything. Everything, identity. I'm not saying that the people in Africa also, because that's true, they have too.
Well, some of
But
us
they still
stayed.
have something, but they're into all kinds of things. He woke us, right? Because we're going to be the ones who are going to teach and bring back the other nations.
Can I say though, as far as Africa, because I've been there several times and I know exactly what you said. I've seen the churches, I've seen all that. But the thing that we seem to forget when we make comparison, do you realize that the witchcraft and the things that we have done in this country is just as bad? The thing is, it's so subtle and it's so sneaky. All the things that we have done, that they have put upon us, from the time we came over here, all the things that they taught us and brainwashed us, we're living in witchcraft. That's the society. That's what we're living in. That's the controllers. That's what they do. So a lot of times we talk about Africa and we say things, and that's to make us afraid of the people that are related to us, where we came from. That's to make us afraid. And that thing bothers me when I hear people misconceive Africa. There are people in Africa. You think that the Most High is just waking up people in America? They're waking them all over. The UK, all over. They're in Africa, because he's gathering us. He's bringing us. But there is a lot. And in the churches, the Christian churches over in Africa, them pastors need to be shot.
But the same thing here. You're
But the
right.
Holy Spirit is the same. That's right,
It's
over
the
here
same thing.
too.
The church
The
is-
Holy
they
Spirit
follow
is
what
the
we
same
do.
Spirit
Yeah,
that's
they came
waking
here
up
to
the
get
whole
that
world.
knowledge.
You know, it's just
Same
not
over
in
here,
America.
right.
It's everywhere. I mean, the witchcraft here is
They
sickening.
bring them over
Sickening. You
here.
just gotta know. You
It's
can.
more
It's
subtle
everywhere.
here.
It's
Yeah.
everywhere. And I'm fruits and everything.
Condemnating
These
spirit,
y'all can grow
demon
plants and
and
eat
clean
the
it, blind and
plants.
grab
We
it.
gotta deal with the poisons and the toxins that they spray from the air. It's terrible. Witchcraft. We live in it.
Yeah.
We live in
No,
it.
the reason why I said that was because of this. He said that Judah would be his lawgiver.
Right.
So if they're the lawgiver, that's why I say that. Not because the people in Africa are not.
Right.
And
Because
Judah's
of course
over
they
there
are.
too. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
we're everywhere.
Absolutely.
But the point that I'm
we're
making is,
everywhere.
Yah
That's
has
right.
a system that he set up, and this is just the way that he works it. Only he knows why he does these things, none of us.
That's right.
But other than that, when you say that, yeah, I know my people. I want to be with my people.
Mhm.
But when they say to us, the elders are over there, they know you should go for them and learn. I say no, you learn from the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you got certain people that's telling us, no, the elders are here. You learn from them.
As if the elders
Ah,
knew
I don't
that.
learn from
Well, you can ask
Everybody
the elders
knew where
about
we were
history.
at.
You don't need. You can ask the elders about history, not about, like you said, the
Right.
Ruah is going to
The
teach
Ruah-
us. He's the one that's teaching us and giving us truth.
And,
But you can hear some history. You can hear some
All right,
things from the elders that
And
way.
that's why
I
you
I
have-
agree with you.
that's why you have to know the pattern of the Most High and how the Most High operates. Because when you recognize his pattern, and you recognize how the Spirit works, then you'll recognize, you'll be able to discern if you're getting good word or you're getting something outside of the word.
Right.
You'll be able to make that discernment.
Test
So
the
there
fruit.
are probably great men in Africa that could give you whatever you need or give you some word, but you'll be able to make that discernment because you know how the Most High operates.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right. You'll recognize that pattern
Yes.
because you know.
And also, most of the churches in Ghana right now are looking for pastors, are looking for fame.
Yeah.
Because you have said somebody called
Circus.
Waffle.
You ever heard of
That's-
TD Jakes? You ever heard of Creflo Dollar? You ever heard of
Kenneth
same thing?
Copeland.
Kenneth Copeland? They're all the same.
Yeah.
Jamal Bryant. They are looking for fame.
Yeah.
They are doing
They
the
go
same
out to
thing.
the
They
Green
know.
Kingdom to get the curses to put on their congregations.
Yes,
And
that's
that's
right.
the
It's the
Marine
same-
Kingdom.
it's the same thing in
Those
Africa.
pastors go down to the
Same
Marine
thing in
Kingdom.
Africa.
TD Jakes is one of
Yeah,
them.
when they lay hand on you, the curse
They're
goes
putting a
straight to
curse.
you.
That's
Oh,
right.
wow.
That's
So,
right.
All right,
Didn't I just say that?
we're gonna keep rolling.
Where's the, where will Leviathan be?
Who's that? Leviticus 14:34.
In the war.
Leviticus
13:40.
14.
14:34.
Come.
Con.
Yeah, the Most High is something else.
That's right.
He could bring revelation.
Witnesses.
Yes, he would bring
Make sure you mail
revelation.
in your time.
Con.
That will make you know that you're going the right direction. Okay.
Want me to read?
Yep.
Okay.
Start at 34.
When ye be come into the land
Oh,
of...
start at 33. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Because this is who he's speaking to.
And
Yeah.
Yahuwah spoke unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when ye be come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plagues and leprosy in the house of the land of your possession.
Keep going.
And he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, if it seemeth to me there is as if it was a plague in the house.
Keep going.
Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest go into it to see the plague, and that all that is in the house be not made unclean, and afterwards the priest shall go in to see the house.
Keep going.
And he shall look on the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house or the hollow stalls, greenish or reddish, which in sight are lower than the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again 7 days and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house, then shall the priest command that they take away the stones in which the plague is, that they shall cast them into an unclean place without the city.
All right, stop there. So, just keep this in mind. Even when we get to the land, and we're in that land, there are going to be unclean households. There are going to be households that's
Mold.
yeah,
That's exactly.
exactly. You're going to be households with mold, households with bad doctrine. There are going to be all of those things. All right? And what does it say? If it's in the walls, The whole thing gotta go
Yeah.
out of the city.
Gotta
It's
go.
gotta go. Huh?
That's the foundation.
That's the foundation. That's everything. It's no good. When we get to the wilderness, what's one thing that has to happen? The rebel has to be purged out, correct?
Yeah.
So getting to the wilderness is not the ultimate goal. Because there are going to be people that don't make it into the land.
Absolutely.
That rebel has to be purged out. That green mold has to be gone. Has to be taken out of the congregation.
Wheat and tares.
Some of it's reddish.
Right. Some of it's reddish. So I just wanted to, say to you, when we get into that wilderness, that's not the end of our journey. There's still going to be plague that's going to be amongst us that has to be removed.
I tell you, I can picture that. I really can picture it right now. Because I can see us leaving as a people, just like we're making the migration over to the continent. I could see us just getting sick of this place. And everybody say, okay, just in black unity, like, let's just go. Like, it's an opportunity for us to go, so let's all just go. And they're going to miss it, like, as we're trying to tell them, no, this is the Most High is doing. And you're going to have your leaders rise up. I mean, I just see it, like.
You can see it. You can see it happening. You can see people.
Yeah, if it's somebody like a Jesse Jackson or a Farrakhan, like if
Or
they.
people, we need to return back to our ancestors and our spirituality and what we had in Egypt. We need to return back to that.
It's called the
African.
Yeah,
Pan-African.
And what they're doing, right, and what they're saying is pretty much you have a business and bring along with you, and you work it there, and you have one what's it called, like the dollar value. Their value is one currency, and the currency. Right.
They just changed the currency.
And they
for
have
West
it.
Africa.
They have it right there. So now, what they're saying is, there's a
That's
buying and
Nigeria.
selling from Africa.
Yeah.
And you're buying and selling in and out outside of Africa. The other countries are not going to be having rulership there. That's what they're trying to. And
if you go back to Marcus Garvey, what was Marcus Garvey's plan?
To take people back to
Take
Africa.
people back to
But
Africa.
it didn't work.
What was Liberia set aside for? For us to come back, right? Liberia said, "Come on, bring it, come on." So this Exodus has been attempted more than once, all right, and it's failed. So what we have to realize is when we get there, wherever we're going, there's still going to be plague amongst us that we have to get rid of and purge out.
It also goes against everything that the Most High said. He said there won't be no strength in us that we would so begin to call out to Him. So if we have all this money to go into Africa to spend, that goes against what He said. He's saying that we're going to start crying out to Him. Why? Because we're not going to have any hands to fight with. So it just goes against.
Does the scripture say we're going to take ourselves to the land?
It does not.
He said, I will scatter thee, I will gather thee.
I will gather
thee.
Yes.
And also, I'm from there. I advocate. I'm going to be an advocate. I'm going to do that because I'm certain of certain things there. That you guys who are not married, go back to Ghana, Africa, and marry them and populate the land. Yeah, but
That's not what the word tells us to do.
I was watching this Exodus 2. I don't think
That's
we
not
Oh,
have to
that's
stay
what he said.
here. We can
Okay.
move wherever we
That's what the
want.
brother,
He will still
think
gather
you should
us.
come on
I
and
don't think because
Right,
we're
because
here in this
you
terrible
can't
country
go
that
and
we
slow
have to
down.
stay here because the
women
word said
can't,
He's going to gather.
have-
We can
can't
go
be
somewhere else. He can
So you
still.
marry the wife,
That's not limiting His word because people do it all the time. They've moved from different United States to other countries. They're going to the UK. They live in the islands or wherever. Wherever we're scattered.
I think it's the mindset. If you think this is
Right.
Yes.
it's not the
That's part of
biblical
it. Yeah.
Exodus.
Right.
It's just an Exodus.
Yeah,
You
I'm
want
just
to
getting
go
out
back.
of it.
It's just
You
an
want to be
Exodus. It's
around
not
your
the
people.
biblical Exodus.
Right,
It's just
right,
an Exodus, which
right.
people have a
But
right to go
I
back.
think,
We don't-
and Baruch and I had a conversation talking about when they were in captivity in Babylon.
No, this was
And-
Egypt.
Egypt.
Yeah, that one, but also when they were in Babylon and then that group of Hebrews left Babylon to go to Egypt.
Oh,
Right.
right.
Oh, yeah,
Egyptians.
Yeah,
there was another one.
Yeah, they left and they went to Egypt
Right.
and they all were killed
Right,
because
yeah.
they left the captivity too early. Okay, and they didn't have the protection of the Most High.
Right.
So I think Baruch is operating from that point of view, saying, let's not get caught up with some of this,
Right.
you know, and go over there and then
die.
and then over there and die. And
Hey,
then,
look at the one,
and
the
then that's it.
Israelites that went in the 70s or
Mona.
60s. Yeah,
Mona.
like that was a big
They went with all
war.
their
Or you could take another example. Just bring up the one when Ephraim left Egypt.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was, I think, something like 60,000 of them. It was a large number of them. I think only 10 of them went back home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all of them died, and they had strength and they had power. They
But
were
that's part of
strong.
that. That's part of that discernment. That's part of, you know, having brothers and sisters that you can talk to, have, you know, and
call
Trust.
right, and pray
And
and
trust.
do all
And
those
trust
things.
right.
That's part of
Family.
having that, having a congregation. Because if you're acting on your own, doing some of these things, you're going to be in error. So you really have to, you know, some of these things you really have to weigh. You really have to seek the Most High. You really, you know, you can't just go into it because someone on YouTube says that it's time to go.
That you don't even
You know, and that you don't know nothing about other than they have a YouTube channel.
That's definitely not the time. You have to be pulled, but like the Most High
Right.
driving you individually or whatever. That's not the way to go.
You
So
don't know
then
what's
remember
set up
that
over
dream
there
that-
for you.
I don't care if Issachar says it's time to go. If this congregation, as this congregation is led by the Most High, if we don't get that message, then we shouldn't
Don't
go.
go. 'Cause you
We
have to
shouldn't
have
say,
a
well,
united
Issachar's
front.
going, Hebrew Nation Building's going. That is not our part of Zion. That's not where we're at right now.
Because we do have to be, because I'm telling you, me and him were just talking the other day, because with us with this house search, again, I talk about this every week. Every single week.
Y'all gonna get it.
You know, every week, but it's the house search.
Y'all gonna
that
get
just
it.
ain't working.
And look,
You know, it's like the Most High, like if this is our Goshen, then it is what it is. Like no matter what we try, because we're being prayerful, this is what we want, we feel this is what we need, but he's like,
Yeah. When you come to Africa, right? I'm
So it
telling the fact. My mother was a pastor. He has died, and I promised my mom, I'm gonna build you a house. I built a tomb. My mother was buried in the same house. I built a tomb right in the house. So I built 12 bedrooms for my bed. My brother is building the house, and I'm going to complete by the end of the summer. Very big 12 bedroom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Before you go, you stay in my house before you get settled.
Wait. Did that hear you say that your mother's buried in the house?
Yeah, because I was a pastor. So when it died, I said, don't go and bury in cemetery in the same house. Build a house.
Who said that?
Oh. They have built a house, a tomb. Then when they open the house, you go there, the tomb is there. They are
Oh, I've seen that.
They are in the
I've
house.
seen that.
And they say the same big
Actually,
compound. So there's a
I've
big
seen
project.
that
I built a
before.
big house there, 12 bedroom. It's almost completed.
So one for each of the tribes, right?
But we have
When
to
you
go
go
by
there,
what the
you
scripture
say,
says.
I will let everybody who stay in the house to come out. These are my brothers and sisters. Go stay in the house until you get settled.
But we have to go by scripture, and the scripture tells us not to have anything to do with dead bodies. So
Oh no,
I can't
No,
be
you
in
don't.
couldn't go. You definitely couldn't go.
You two couldn't go. It definitely
As
couldn't
a
go.
as a
not why the
Nazarite,
Nazarene.
you can't even be in
I'm
the
there forever. It ain't never
We have to,
for me.
we have to stick to the script.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
And like I said,
with the spirit.
I think we have to make sure though there are a lot of voices out there.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think we have to make sure that this group here is under leadership. This group is under the leadership that it's under, and not going out there seeking those other people. Because even Hebrew Nation Building, as great as we may esteem them, they're not us, they're not here, they're not in this congregation.
Absolutely.
So our mission, our journey may be different than theirs.
God led us to each other for a purpose.
So we need the
Our mission is
yeah.
different.
You know, it's so crazy. Y'all guys been telling me this for a long time. Mike, stop watching the videos. I became a Nazarite. I watched certain things happen. I was separated from something that I love very much. So separated away from it. Or put into the house, and now I haven't watched Josh's video the last 3 times.
Well, you know, Josh doesn't watch videos of anyone outside of Hebrew Nation
I
Building.
heard him say that.
He doesn't watch anybody's videos outside of Hebrew Nation Building because that's their congregation. That's where the word is coming from.
That's where y'all send it. That's right.
Right. And I'm not saying don't watch videos. But what I'm saying is you got to take it with a grain of salt. Like, you can't just say,
So that's why.
Issachar said.
You don't agree with everybody. It means who do you agree with? It's not
They're flesh.
So let me tell you what happened. I remember this is about this was last week when this happened. I had a dream that I asked my father. I said to him, listen, I want to be able to move to a different continent. He said, well, I know all about Africa. Come with me. So we got on a flight and we went to Africa, and we were in this big wilderness, and we were sitting there and we were eating food, and he was showing me all the food, and he started telling me about all of the people there, how they trade and how they conduct business, the politics. She was just telling me everything about it. And then that's when I didn't say this part. There was this lady, she was drowning, and he went to go pulled her out of the water, and she had 2 babies, and they were still living. That's when I noticed how it shifted, and we were all walking down this long path, and my mother came out, and she was there. My aunt was there. My sister was there. I saw my cousins, they were there. But my mother, she had to go to the bathroom, but there was no bathrooms. So she had to, go out into, where the tree area is, the brush area. And I'm steady walking, and I turn around, and I'm hearing them crying, and I see these tribe of people coming towards her. I'm saying, what's the problem? And they all started to cry along with her and saying, we've been oppressed also. We've been going through this also. So they were consulting with her. That's when me and my sister, we said, well, we need to prepare the food. So let's go to this banquet hall where we were going to eat our food. So we get to the banquet hall, and that's when all the family, we all started coming there. And then out of the blue, my cousin, I didn't even know he was there. He came. He had this long black suit on, and he said, yeah, I've been here for 2 years. I've been selling houses, making money, and everybody was so amazed. And that's when the dream switched, and I saw a desert, and I woke up.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So, go ahead. What did you say it was?
Oh, you're not going to do that to me.
Go ahead.
You're not going to do that to me. You might. When we talked earlier, we said that he was like Abraham. He left Ur of the Chaldeans, got to Haran, right? All his family was in Haran with him. They were living it up. Everything was good. They were having a good time, but that wasn't the place for him. He had to go to that desolate place. And when he got to that desolate place, he had to leave his family behind, and he had to go to that desolate place by himself. And that's where the Most High was drawing him and leading him. But he couldn't take his family there with him because they were all set up. They took the world here and they brought it over to Africa with them. But he had to separate himself from them, and he had to do something different. And that's why he had to go into the desolate place. And you remember when the Spirit, and I just thought it, when the Spirit came upon Yahushua, where did he go? He went to that desolate place when the Spirit came upon him. And that's the same. That's what I saw for that.
To be tempted a Hasatan, but also to be ministered to.
That's right. That's right.
And also, I've been having dreams because I fast a lot. I fast dry and all. I fast a lot. So most of them I fast. I get dream. Anytime I close my eye, I get a dream. One day, the dream I had.
All right. Why don't you save that? I want to get back to this a little bit, and then that could be dinner conversation. All right. I don't mean to cut you off, so Genesis 12:6. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanites was then in the land. We talked a little bit about this. Turn to Jubilees if you have it. Jubilees 10:29 through 31.
Okay, hold on.
Jubilees. Hmm? Jubilees 10, 29 through 31. Calm. All right. Who's reading?
And Canaan saw the land of Lebanon to the river of Egypt. It was very good. He went not into the land of his inheritance to the west, that is to the sea. He dwelt in the land of Lebanon, eastward and westward from the border of the Jordan, from the border of the sea. And Ham, his father, and Cush, and Mizraim, his brothers, said unto him, Thou hast settled in a land which is not thine, and which did not fail to us by lot. Do not do so, for if thou dost do so, thou and thy sons will fall in the land and be accursed through seduction. For by seduction you have settled, and by seduction will thy children fall, and thou shalt be rooted out forever. Dwell not in the dwelling of Shem, for Shem and to his sons did it come by their lot.
All right. So that's it. You know, that's what happened. So Canaan didn't listen, right? And remember, Canaan was cursed before he was born.
Right.
Okay? Canaan was cursed before he was born. When was Canaan cursed? Who cursed him? Noah. Noah cursed him, right?
Yeah.
It's a curse be Canaan. Right. A servant of servants, right?
Shall he be unto Shem.
Yep. And then Canaan goes, oh, I'm going to settle in the land. Ooh, this is a nice land. I'm going to settle in this land. This looks nice. I'm going to settle here. And his brothers, Ham, or his dad, Ham, and his brother Mitzrayim were saying, no, don't go there. That's not your land. It doesn't belong to you. Because if you look earlier in that chapter, they cast lots for the land. And they each got the land by casting lots. It's funny that word lots in there. You hear that word lot again. They cast lots. There was a lot in the land, and Abram couldn't take it when Lot was with him. All right, Zechariah 14:21. So the land was never Canaan's inheritance. The land always belonged to the descendants of Shem.
Isn't there a curse for taking the wrong land?
Yeah, that's what they tried to tell him. Like they said that you're going to be under sedation. They're going to root you out. You're going to be killed. All these things are going to happen when you try to take this land instead of going to the land that was given to you.
Thieving out there, thieving.
Yeah, you ain't have to do that.
Seems to be history.
Yeah.
History of the world.
Oh, did you have to do that?
You already have your portion, but you got to take somebody
You got to take somebody else's. He said, man, this land looks really nice. It's a little better than mine.
Kill you.
Right.
All right, who's got that for me? 14:21, Zechariah.
I got it. Yea, every pot in Jerusalem and every Judah shall be holiness unto Yahuwah of armies. And all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them, and seeth therein. And in that day thou shalt be no more than the Canaanites in the house of Yahuwah of hosts of armies.
All right, so one day, what did Shem tell him? You're going to be rooted out of the land. And then this prophecy in Zechariah says, there's going to come a time in that land, the land of Canaan, that they call it the promised land, that there's no longer going to be a Canaanite in that land. Okay? So Shem said it. I don't even know from Shem to Zechariah how many generations that would be, but I would believe it would be a plenty of generations. So Shem said that they would be rooted out, or not Shem, Ham and Mitzrayim said they would be rooted out. And then in Zechariah, that promise or that prophecy is being made that they're going to be rooted out the land forever. All right, there won't be a Canaanite in the land. All right, but that's after, if you look at that's after every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness. So that's after we pass under the rod without a spot, blemish, or wrinkle. All All right?
So that means it's the way it's prepared for us to come, then we're prepared to go into that land.
Absolutely. And then I'm sure as we are approaching that land, we're going to see some giants.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it don't have to be giants. It could be warplanes. It could be nuclear bombs. It could be whatever. I'm sure we're going to see that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are going to be people saying, well, we can't take that land. You talking about that this morning?
We talking about that this morning.
Yep, there's going to be those folks. And it's going to take the Caleb and the Joshua to say, this land has been given to us by the Most High.
That's right.
Because it's almost like I was hearing that. That's what we were talking about. I was hearing that, like, because I'm going to say even just a year ago, we were talking about, oh, we can't fight them because we're outgunned, we're outmanned, and they got this and they got that kind of weapons or whatever. And finally it was like, well, wait a minute, this sounds just like the children of Israel before, because the Most High always worked in a remnant. It never took 100 billion of us, you know what I'm saying, like to do. He always proved his power with a remnant. Yes. So if we have him, if he's Yahuwah Sabaoth, like we can't be saying it's too many of them. They're too big. They have guns. They have weapons. So I said that means we got to see giants.
Yep, there's got to be some giants in the land.
The Amalekites were giants when they went over there. And then what does it say until the iniquity of the Amalekites?
The Amorites.
The Amorites.
Yep,
oh,
the
that's
Amorites.
Different then.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The
okay,
iniquity of the Amorites.
Getting that mixed up.
And it's coming
And
up
they have
too.
to send somebody to spy that land.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Somebody will have to spy the land, and someone's gonna come back saying, "Oh no, we shouldn't go there. We probably shouldn't do that." No,
what was it? 4 of them, right?
3. No. Yeah.
4 because you had Joshua and Caleb, and then you had 2.
Oh right. I was saying and they
said
turned
no,
everybody else.
2 said, "Yo, we could do it."
The other 2, when we just fought this to do, they would say, "Well, let's make a captain because let's go back to Egypt. Let's get us a captain, and we're gonna go back.
Let's go back to America."
Yeah, that's what. I'm gonna tell you what. Anybody that gets me 40 more years in the wilderness because we don't want to go in, I'm gonna be hot. Yeah. I'm gonna be hot. I don't want to do 40 more years in the wilderness.
We prayed like y'all just let them
go back for 40 years.
Yeah. I'm gonna be hot.
Say that anointing falls on the right people.
That's
they're
right.
hearing from Yah, and they're not walking in their own understanding and mind.
He says he has his prophets. His word's gonna come true.
Absolutely.
We know that.
All right, Genesis 12:7. And Yahuwah appeared unto Abram and said, "Unto thy seed will I give this land." And there builded he an altar unto Yahuwah, who appeared unto him. Now, he spoke to Abram prior. This time it said he appeared to him. After who left? When did he appear to him? After what left?
After the veil.
After the veil was removed, he appeared to Abram. Right. But that veil had to be removed first. Yeah. So he took that veil, which is Lot, from him, and then he appeared to him. And then Abram built an altar in reverence to him. Okay?
And it's funny because he told Abimelech that Abram will pray for him because he's a prophet.
Exactly. So appeared is Ra'ah, H7200, to see, have vision, observe, to present oneself. Okay. So Abram was able. Now, I don't want to get into. Did he see the Most High? No.
No man has seen him at any time.
He saw his representative. All right. Or the angel of the Lord. I don't know if they're the same. He saw his representative, and whoever that was. And a lot of times that representative speaks for Yahuwah, right? So he appeared to him. Now at this time the veil was removed, and he was able to appear to him. The seed of Abram had to be planted in the land of Canaan, the promised land, which was his rightful inheritance. This land was given to Shem by lot, meaning casting lots, not by the person lot. Yeah. Right. By casting lots. If you look at all of this, right, all of this is nothing but earth and us and seeds and us being planted, the seeds being planted in the right land to grow. Right. It's nothing other than that. He took us from soil, right? And put us in some other soil. But ultimately, we have to go back to that soil in which we came and be planted in that good soil or that tilled ground. Once we're planted in that tilled ground, then we will bear fruit in that tilled ground. Hallelujah. Right now, we're planted in a ground that's rocky, briars, thistles, thorns, all of those things. That's the ground we're planted in there.
That's why the cave in Mamre, where we bury our dead. We'll be in our land burying our dead because that cave was buried.
They're burying the what? The seed is being buried in the land.
Hallelujah, you're right.
The seed being buried in the land.
I wonder if they have tried to uncover those burial places.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
They found it?
Yeah. They said they have a big structure in Hebron, and they say they built a structure, and they say that they have all of the remains of.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But they say the only ones that are buried there are Abram, Sarah, Jacob, and Isaac, I think, or
Joseph.
Maybe Joseph too. I gotta look at it, but if you look up Hebron, there's a big structure that they have where they say they have the remains of those four. So I don't know, but they would loot that type of thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought they wanted. Just from the word itself, you would think, okay, they're gonna go looking for that.
So just keep in mind, when Lot was planted in bad land, he produced bad fruit. And his bad fruit happened to be his sons and his daughters, right? Yeah. And his kin, they were bad fruit. Because you know what happened in the cave. And then the other ones actually stayed there, but you know what happened with his daughters in the cave, and you know what happened to his wife. Okay? Because he was planted in that bad land too long. And then he became that land. He became those thorns, those thistles, all of those things. He became a stumbling block. All right? He became a stumbling block. So we have to, we're in this land, and there's only so much fruit we can produce while we're in this land. But the ultimate goal is for us to be planted in our own land, and then we will give forth lots and lots and lots of fruit. Yep. But the Most High is orchestrated us to be planted in our own land, and that's the goal. Got to go back to our own land. The land that we were taken from, we go back to that land, and we're planted in that land. It's just like seed time and harvest time. Remember, he gives you a physical example to represent those things that are spiritual. It gives you that physical example. Man and woman, father and son. All right? It gives you those examples. The two shall become one. It gives you those examples. The elder shall serve the younger. It gives you those examples. He puts them in the terms that you can understand. And he even says, I forget where it is in the New Testament, how can I show you spiritual things when you don't understand earthly things? I just paraphrase. That's paraphrase, but that's basically it. I can't show you spiritual things because you don't understand how I put things together here. You don't understand that. And that's what he did. He did things in a certain order. He didn't have to take Eve out of Adam. He didn't have to do that. But he did it to show something. There was a purpose to what he did. All right. From Shem to Abram. Those are the 10 generations from Shem to Abram.
You're sending this PowerPoint, right?
Yeah, I think I sent it. You didn't get it?
I didn't get it.
Yeah, I got it. I just forgot to print it out.
When you sent the one email, was it all the whole?
Yeah, it was everything. Yeah,
please send it to me. I'm going to use it
find it.
to teach people. Yeah, Africans are stubborn.
So those are the 10. Those are the 10 generations. And it's interesting if you get time on your own, just look up and see what each of those names mean. it's pretty interesting as you kind of go down the line and you see what those names mean. I'll let that be your own project.
Oh, from Shem up?
Yeah, from Shem to Abram. If you look at those names, and if you put the Abraham on him, then yeah.
I find it so interesting that Abram's name means father. It has the name father in it, and for the longest he didn't have kids.
Right.
I found it very interesting.
Right.
Oh, that scripture that you were speaking about was John 3:12.
Read it.
I have spoken to you of earthly things, and you do not believe. How then will you believe if I speak of heavenly things?
Right. Perfect. Yep.
John 3:10.
Yep.
John 3:12.
So KJV.
It was in my page. But I can change it.
It's funny how the farmer hides things too. I mean, we spoke about this before, how he put April then Ham.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Of the blacks, right?
There's a lot of things in names. There's a lot of things in names, and you know, we shouldn't ignore names because you can get a lot out of it. You get a lot out of understand what names mean, why they were named certain things. Because remember, Hebrews were named with a purpose back then.
Right.
Absolutely.
They were named with a purpose.
And they usually did that purpose.
They still do that now.
Exactly. Exactly. They lived up to that purpose a lot of times.
So from Abraham, 10 generations, said who? 10 generations?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Jubilees 8:17. And Elder, you let me know when time's up.
Keep going, bro.
All right.
It's good.
And then
8:17.
Every time you call someone's name,
Jubilee
call
what?
them the attributes of that name.
That's right. That's right.
My name means flower violet, but it's in a lot of different
I could read.
origins.
Gabriel.
Somebody else got it.
Yahuwah is my strength.
That's what that means?
Yeah,
Gabriel means that? Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, because Gabriel. Yeah.
Michaela is who is like Yah.
Yeah, who was like Yah, yes.
And
yes.
Jaden is Yah has heard.
Oh.
So they don't need
I
to worry
spent
about
time. Yeah, that was really important because I know that when you're calling out a
That's
name,
right. That's
you're
right.
calling
You're
those
speaking
attributes.
it.
Yeah.
You're calling those attributes. Yeah. Yeah. Instead of just calling them an arbitrary name that doesn't either mean something
Right.
Or
or
it sounds good.
Right.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
put names
So
together.
like when they would call out Jacob, they would say, deceiver, deceiver, come here, deceiver, deceiver, make the food. That's what they kept saying. You know,
That's
speaking
why
of
God had to
the
change
meaning
his
of his
name.
name.
That's why that name had to change, right?
Absolutely.
That's why that name had
Right.
to change.
Israel, right?
Why God always changed his name?
Why?
Because the
He
name
changed
doesn't
his
fit the
character.
attribute.
He changed the character. He changed the
And
name.
And he changed your purpose too, right?
Your outlook.
Yep, your purpose changed because Jacob's purpose changed, didn't it?
That's right.
So
Yeah.
one thing
Abraham.
go right for me, I have to change my name too.
And I know,
Sorry,
a lot of us have changed our names in the congregation.
Yeah.
Me changing my name to Nekemia was definitely purposeful.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was purposeful because what did Nekemia do? What did Nehemiah do in script? He built the wall, right?
Yeah.
He brought they were coming back out of captivity, right?
Mhm.
They had to learn the what again?
The law.
They had to learn the covenant, right?
That's right.
They had to relearn the covenant. That was part of building that wall. They had to relearn the covenant. So when I was asking Yah, what should I bring? It was obvious what I should bring. His covenant. It was obvious. So you do these things not arbitrarily. You do these things with purpose.
That's right.
And when you say, I'm going to take on another name, you take on the attributes of that name. Nekemia means Yah's comfort. That's what that name means.
And tikva means hope, which is a cord, And when I forget her name, when she hung the red cord out the window, and
no, that's
that gave them hope. The spies.
Rahab.
Yeah, I was there.
I was thinking about the cord that was tied around.
Fayaz.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking when you first said that. But no, you're talking about the cord. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That was their sign of hope.
So one of my
they named him
grandsons,
because he broke through.
I named one of my grandsons Vanessa.
Or breach.
Vanessa, firstborn of Jesse.
Yeah.
Breach.
Manasseh.
Break through.
No, Ephraim is fruitful, or is Manasseh fruitful?
Oh,
Fruitful in the
Vanessa
land.
was fruitful.
That's the name. That's what the name means. Fruitful in the
The
land.
firstborn.
Yeah.
Ephraim was the second.
Messenger.
17. Yes.
You ready?
Messenger.
Malachi. Yeah, that's it. Oh wow.
This portion came forth by lot for Shem and his sons, that they shall possess it forever unto his generations forevermore.
That's right. So that land does not belong to Canaan. They can call it Canaan all they want. That land has nothing to do with Canaan. It was never his. It was stolen. And it's whoever's in there now, it's not theirs either.
Right.
Whether those are Canaanites, Japheth,
Right.
whoever,
Right.
Kittim, whoever's in there,
Right.
that's not their land. Because his word says that land belongs to Shem and his descendants forever.
Right.
Forever.
And that kind of even, like you said, the earthly things with the spiritual principle, like we being heirs. Because my daughter had me look up into, I think it was Hebrews 8 or 9, about a testament and a will. Like a will is typically made out to blood heirs.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't make a covenant, or you don't produce a will or a testament, or have heirs that are people you don't know, like strange people.
Right.
It always stays in the family line.
Absolutely.
So it's to the heirs. The promises of that covenant go to the bloodline heirs. Period.
Shows you that they'll lead her off again, because they're all willing their money to charities and not to their bloodline.
If I, look at England and their royalty, it's been that same bloodline. They don't go outside of that bloodline and make strangers. All right, we're going to call you a Windsor and bring you in.
Right.
You can't just be called a Windsor.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to be born into being a Windsor. You can't just say, I'm a spiritual Windsor. That doesn't work. That's not valid. You're not a spiritual Windsor.
It doesn't work
Like
with
a
anything in
spiritual-
life. So it's like, how could, because the Most High, I mean, it's like a lot of common sense in there. Like, this doesn't make sense. I become a spiritual Japanese,
Right.
whatever.
What?
Yeah,
Because
how
now I'm reading the book, now I'm a spiritual Japanese.
You can become a Jew if you want to.
That's crazy, though.
And they
That's the same thing.
They do. You become a Jew.
Yeah, you can. All you gotta do is get
That's
In Ghana, Asante Kumasi is the king. It's like a governor. It's the king. They well respected. If you speak, the person's listen. Asante king, Asante. You know it.
Also, isn't that for American presidents? They related too.
Yes, that's
That's one, but all of them are. All except for one.
No, they say he's related.
Oh, Martin Van Buren's related
Oh,
to
Van Buren, I don't know about
I think Van Buren's not related.
To
Yeah.
Bush.
Oh, I thought you meant-
No, Obama definitely is.
You
He's
know,
related to the
he-
Bushes.
Right.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Yeah, you saw the one kid he made
This
the
girl made a map,
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
connected all the presidents.
Absolutely.
She was like
There
so
was only one that
surprised.
fell outside of that. All right.
It's a kingship.
Genesis 12:8. And he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Hai on the east. And there he built an altar unto Yahuwah, and he called upon the name of Yahuwah. So Yahuwah appeared to him, and then he called. All right? Yahuwah appeared to Abram, and then Abram called out to him. If someone would look up Bethel in Strong's for me, and someone would look up High in Strong's, or Hay, or
Means house.
however you say that.
House of God.
Hell means desolate place.
Okay, so he pitched his tent between
House.
the house of
Yah.
Yah and the desolate place. Choose ye this day who you will serve.
Whether it be Yah,
He could have went to the right or to the left. He pitched his tent between those two destinies for himself. All right, and I have it up there. I didn't realize I had it up there. Sorry. My bad. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I had it up there. I need to have it so it appears. I need to keep doing it.
Yeah, you gotta work on that.
Yeah, I gotta work on so that it appears so you can't see it. Right there, like, what am I looking it up for? It's right there, Will.
And I was looking it up.
All right, all right.
I didn't look at it. I didn't see it. He said it.
Lot in between the two?
No, go ahead.
Okay, well, you know, when Abraham and Lot separated, Lot chose hell, and Abraham chose. Well, actually, Lot chose because Lot chose. He was looking at that
Lot
good
did
land. He did. No, right, and he chose to go towards Sodom and Gomorrah.
Which was what?
That's
Lust of the eye,
Yep.
pride of life,
That's
and the
all
lust of the flesh.
That's right. Because it looked good.
It looked
Yeah,
good.
that's why he went.
Right,
Yeah.
but Abraham chose Bethel, the house of God.
Yeah.
And he was showing, oh man, that's a whole different story with Lot, man. Where it looked good, feel good,
But it wasn't good.
seem good.
But that's the same sin. That's the same thing that happened with Eve.
Right.
With Eve with the fruit, she saw it. It looked good. It looked good for food, and it was good to make one wise. It was the same thing. It was the same thing. You know, that whole sin keeps passing itself
It's what we're
down.
wrestling with right now. Like people still
Absolutely.
are having a hard time coming out of Babylon because they see
It all looks good.
all the lust of the flesh, the eyes, and everything, the
Right.
pride of life. They can't tear themselves away from that, even though at the same time it's like stinking. You know,
Right.
I mean, it's stinking them
Yeah.
off, and they, you know, but they can't.
Well, just watch
come
though.
out.
When we have to leave this place, right? There are going to be so many people say, "Man, I miss TV. I miss sports. I miss."
I want to
Yeah.
get my nails done.
I'm gonna have my chickens with me. I'm gonna have my chickens with me.
I wish my chicken, my fried chicken.
I'm gonna have me a little leash. I'm gonna have me 4 or 5 chickens with me. You gotta let me and my friends on the plane. I ain't playing
Hey, don't
that.
worry about it. I take some of my own boy like
Yeah,
you.
I ain't playing that. Chicken, yes. Yes, chicken.
Yeah. You gotta have that chicken, man.
People will be missing Popeye's chicken sandwiches, all those things. They're going to be missing them. They're going to be talking about them. They're going to be lamenting over those things that they don't have. They're going to be asking for the quail. I want to eat meat because that's going to be me.
Hey, eat my bear.
If I go there, somebody get me. If I go there, get me. Uzi, that's you, but if I go there, get me. Just grab me. Yep, grab me like, come on. Shut up.
Here you go, Will. Here's your burger.
Shut up.
Drag him out. You go these home
Yep. Grab me, just keep rolling.
Hey, remember, he slew the fattest of them
Yeah.
while the meat was yet in their teeth.
Oh man, coming out their nose, and I
Does that
want
mean it
none
was
of that.
throwing up, right?
Yeah.
Mercy.
You know, that's a bad one when it comes out
Oh,
your nose.
man. Yeah, I ain't parts of that, but you know, people are going to be lamenting all of those things of Babylon, all of those things that they missed. They're going to be thinking about those things. They're going to be missing Hollywood. They're going to be missing movies. They're going to be missing those things.
Yeah, I wonder what
So-
Beyonce doing.
But you know, it's funny because the
What's
Most High got
Queen
it
Bee
going
doing?
on
That's
now.
probably how they're going to, yeah. But, so that's why we have to disconnect ourselves from Babylon now. You're not going to be able to do it once we get into the wilderness.
That's why this quarantine really wasn't bad, because we had stopped going to the movies because the movies was bad, and we stopped going to restaurants because we don't trust what they make. There's probably some pork thrown in there, like so. I mean, it's like, what was really
That's
missing?
what the
Just missing my
scripture.
family. That's
He
it.
makes all things work together for the good.
He does.
That's right.
He's made this quarantine work good for our good.
Right. Training us to do with
Dude,
some of the luxuries that they call without dealing with those things that are out there. I know before this happened, and I said this before, I was a big sports junkie, like sports. My basement, Kai will tell you there's sports posters and everything down there. Sports junkie. But I cut back. I just gave it up because the Most High was leading me that way. And I would just, every once in a while, watch a basketball game or something like that. But it wasn't like it was before. Right. So now when all the sports went away, I'm not back here having a fit with shakes because there's no sports on. I'm good. Right. I'm good because he prepared me to fast from sports prior to this happening. Because I tell you what, if this would have been 2 years ago, I would have been struggling. Someone would need to talk me off the ledge. I would have been struggling. So I'm good though now. I don't need football to get through a Saturday or Sunday. I don't need to watch every single Eagles game, every minute of it. Don't interrupt me. Don't come in the room. Don't come near me. I don't need that anymore. But that's how I was. Like, the game is on. No one can talk. Don't come in here talking.
And don't be on the opposite teams.
Don't come in here with no Dallas stuff on there. You get yourself hurt.
That's why I'm glad when you came with cable, you could pause it.
Right, that's what I mean. You can break down the play. Yeah, that guy went where he's supposed to be. But that's the whole point, though. The whole point is we gotta give up this stuff here. We gotta give it up. So that's the only way. We can't be Lot's wife. You don't want to be her. And looking back to the luxuries that were presented us here.
This time has been great. I've been doing
and you know it's funny because Hasatan came to Yeshua with the same temptations.
Yep. Showed him all the kingdoms and was like, I give all this to you.
Right.
It is written.
And you know it's funny because we don't even pay attention to it, but Hasatan didn't even go by himself.
Didn't go into the wilderness?
To tempt Yeshua?
Yeah,
he didn't go alone.
I gotta get that. All right.
We'll talk about that at dinner. That's a dinner conversation.
Dinner conversation. I gotta hear that one.
Oh, yeah, so do I. I hear that one too.
I thought it was just the devil took him up high and showed him all the kingdoms.
All right. So, Joshua 24:14-15. I believe that's choose ye this day whom you will serve. And that's what we need to do, because he'll put us between those two things in our lives. He'll put us between the heaps of ruins. And remember, the heap of ruins is not going to look like a heap of ruins.
Right.
All right, it's not going to be like a burnt down shack on this side and paradise on this side. It's not going to look that way.
Well, we know what it's going to look like. It's going to look like the football game.
Yeah.
Inside the place of the football game. Or it's going to look like somebody downstairs reading the Bible.
It's going to be Oz.
Yeah.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Yeah, we're going to be like, woo, I need to go over there.
Yeah.
So that's where he's going to put us. He's going to put us between those two things because we have to ultimately make a decision to choose him. Yes. We have to make a decision to choose him. No matter where you're at in your life, who you are, ultimately there has to be a decision. There has to be a cross or a road that you take, either the left or the right.
The narrow road.
That's funny how a lot of us, I can speak for myself, have come into that crossroad of what you're going to do.
Yeah. Listen, I'm telling you right now, my biggest fear is this. That Yahuwah says, I got to move without my wife. I got to go. It's time to go, and she won't go.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear.
I hear you.
That's my biggest fear. It's just like, you got to go now, whether she goes or not. That's my biggest fear.
And mine are my daughters. I feel you.
So I think about that all the time. But it could come to that. It could come to that. And you just have to, as much as you can, you pray and you do what you do.
Is that why it says in Revelation where, no, is it Revelations or Mark where it says, is it your husband or your wife is going to pass? Is that?
What do you mean?
The husband, if your wife or your husband is
two are
to stay with you,
two are in the
they're
room
good
and
under
one
you as a
is
couple.
One take care of it,
when
right?
the
One's on the
cover them.
rooftop and the
Yeah,
other
one
one's
is-
taken.
or in the field, two are in the field.
One is
and
taken.
Oh, one is taken and the other
Oh,
is
that's
not.
the destruction. That's
That's
the
in Luke.
the wrath.
Yeah,
Like
that's
one
the
is going to
desolation.
Desolation.
And you know, Christianity
So that's saying
teaches
the
the
same
opposite
thing.
of
That's
what
what
Yeah, they
truth
teach
is.
you the rapture. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Right.
I know they teach that part,
But
but
they
I'm saying for
also
us,
have
it's,
taught
that's
that
exactly what it's saying.
that time was when they had to leave Jerusalem and be scattered and went south. They also teach that too. That prophecy
was
was
that.
related to the after the 70 years AD when Rome was coming to destroy everything. That was part of it too. You see, to leave, just go.
When he was talking about
Yeah,
the
I
husband and the
forgot
wife,
that.
the wife is the husband covering, the husband is the wife.
Oh yeah. That's what you're talking about. The husband is the wife. Yeah.
Right.
Or the husband sacrifices the wife sacrifices the husband, the unbelieving husband or unbelieving wife. Yeah.
But it says double woe unto the one that's taken.
But I think that's because they're one
There's
body,
one in.
Right.
That's
Right.
what
They're
it
one
says.
flesh.
And that's the thing though, like, you don't know how this is going to play out
Absolutely.
and when it's going to be that time
Right.
and who's going and who's not.
Right.
You don't know.
I have a question. So you're leaving your loved ones. Do you think the Most High is gonna like make you not care?
No.
Not care, but not be in so much pain that you're leaving your relatives that you're not.
Well,
You
that,
know,
it
you
seems
know you
like
gotta
that
go.
comes because he said he's wiping every tear from our eyes.
Yeah, but that's
We're not
eventually
gonna,
though.
but it comes. But
And then you see
but
the destruction of the
initially-
wicked, which is your family.
Yeah.
Right. But initially,
So
I think we
how
will.
you think
feel
we're
it.
gonna feel about
But
that?
check this out, though. If you look back at Lot, his wife turned back. Did he turn back to look
Go
at her?
get her.
No, he kept running.
You
kept
gotta
moving.
keep going.
What
Yeah.
was the reason she looked back again?
Oh, because
She-
she missed
'cause
what
she
was
missed-
there.
she
Going
missed
on,
it.
right.
Oh, it was something else.
That's what it
Because
was.
her kids, probably her kids was there.
It was something else.
Oh,
No,
the
she
kids-
missed
And
it.
her
And
daughters
they're-
were with her.
She was just
She was
He had some kids that were married.
Yeah,
too,
that were
didn't
back
come.
that stayed in
Yeah.
Sodom.
Yeah, so he's had some married kids and some kids that
Right.
were
That
never
actually
daughters
stayed there,
married.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then they should also.
the sons. The
They
sons.
should've got
With
rid
the
of
sons that
Yeah,
were
it was
married.
sons, I think.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Sons.
Yes.
No, son-in-law.
Well, she also.
Son-in-laws.
Son-in-law.
That's how you knew when he had daughters.
More
Right,
daughters.
right.
Because
Oh, yeah.
he had called his son-in-laws
Right,
to tell them,
sons-in-laws, right.
and they didn't
Didn't
listen.
they
Yeah.
laugh? They
Remember
laughed.
in the
Yeah,
book
they
in
thought
the
it
book
was
of
my
Jasher, she had Pilate. Remember Pilate fed the guy that was fed the guy, and they found out that she was feeding this man, and they wound up killing him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
in the book
yeah.
of Jasher.
Yeah.
And the reason why she died is because she was disobedient. Because if she would have paid attention,
Yes,
she would have
yes.
listened to listen to the father, the angel, but the angel told them don't look
Right.
back.
Mhm.
She wouldn't have looked back, but she was lusting after something behind,
Behind, that's
Right.
and she looked back. And that's
Right.
why she turned into a pillar of salt.
That's right.
That was here to this day, but obviously
It's so
To this
animals
day goes
must have
back.
licked up
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the salt
yeah.
by now.
But yeah, that's real. Making those decisions. So that's my fear. Like, if I had to say what my biggest fear in this whole awakening is,
Yeah.
that's my fear, having to leave my family.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
I
my
think that's for every last one of
Not
us.
one.
You know,
One in my
I mean,
family.
you guys, my family, you're seeing how it happened with me. I watched my son turn. I mean, those are the kind of decisions that we gotta make. You know,
I
so,
understand
yeah,
that. I got babies though. I got babies. I don't have, teenagers. I got,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I got.
And I have a
got
son
an
with a heart,
8-month
his
year-old.
heart is
I got an
is
8-month
stone
old
right now.
You know,
Yeah, that's
that
different.
walking out on that,
Because I left
that's
the church
pretty-
that you didn't go to.
that's severe. That would be
My
severe.
grandson is under the sun.
But there's comfort in that, though. Doesn't he say that your seed, that he made a covenant with our seed? So if we come right back to him, right? He says that if my fathers will call by my name, humble themselves and pray and come away from their wicked ways. But then he made a covenant with us saying that he will bless our seed after thee, right?
Because that's
So that
what I was
means that
wondering.
somebody,
You gotta be a
somehow our
seed.
seed is going to come.
I hope. Yeah, I
Well,
don't. Yeah.
look at
Now,
Jeremiah.
now, check this out. Both wicked and good.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it,
That's
Jehu
what
he
it
made a
says.
covenant
That's what it
with,
says in Jeremiah.
right? And Jehu went and he killed Jezebel,
Jezebel.
right? He killed, he did all those things, and God said, okay, I promise, your seed is going to be blessed up into the third and the fourth generation, which he did, even though all three of them was wicked.
Right.
But I don't want that to be. I want our children to be good. I don't want to see us back in the place where we are today. So I'm not saying that for that, but I'm saying that.
But anyone that partakes or is enthralled with Babylon is not going to leave Babylon.
Yeah. Right.
You got to look at it that way too.
And when y'all says,
because if you're talking about a physical leaving, right?
Yeah.
There's people that are just
that are stuck.
This is their whole thing. Their whole existence is here. And to go somewhere else is like the worst thing.
Still got starry eyes. I mean, even with death and injustice and everything, it's still like this place is everything to them. It's
well,
crazy.
hopefully, if she thinks that she doesn't want to go, hopefully she'll say, "Well, you take the boys. If you think it's so bad, because I'm not going." At least you would be like, "Okay, I'll take my sons and go."
I'd be like, "Let me make this easier for you. Let me just take these two over here."
Yes, you don't want to go, that's fine. But can I take my son?
I'll take them with
And you know what?
I too. I'll take baby duties.
We gotta ask ourselves a hard question.
Somebody gotta get the chickens. Long we got that, we roll. We're gonna roll. We're gonna be ready to roll.
We're going into the wilderness, right? It's not gonna be no electricity, right?
Right.
These kids ain't gonna like the fact they ain't gonna have no cell phones.
Yeah, I was thinking about
Oh
that.
man, can you imagine?
So a lot of them gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna stay with my mother.
Yeah.
I ain't
You
gonna
know
go to
what?
grandma.
I
I'm not
think-
talking to no.
Little babies is different. They can't say, "I don't want to go."
I'm practicing starting now. Like I say, I'm already dead. You know, self-preservation.
I believe that.
It's the first law
That's
of
very
nature.
good,
So it's natural for us to try to preserve our lives.
Right.
But if we, like practice now.
That's
I
true.
thought about when my
That is
girls
true.
went to
Yeah,
Indiana, how they just
true.
left. It's like, okay, if you want to be rebellious, I'm not going to mourn you.
Yeah.
And of course, my heart will break.
No,
Yeah.
I know what you're
Of course
saying.
it'll break,
No,
but I'm
I-
trying to
I
get
do
to
know
that
what you're
place
saying.
where when the rubber meets the road,
Yes.
Ready.
you're not, you're being disobedient. You won't listen. You think it's funny. You're playing games. You're not seeking the truth for yourself.
Right.
Then I'm out.
Yeah.
So they still over there?
No, they came back at
They
the wee
came.
hours of the morning last night. Or this
Oh, last
morning.
night.
They're back.
Wow.
The same, Sissy had her infusion at 10 a.m. and
Can I
Daddy.
ask you, but not now?
No, actually, it's a different.
They snuck
I knew they were coming to
Lock the door.
like a thief in the night.
Wanda wants an answer.
We might not get it today, but Jeremiah 33. I'm just gonna ask you if y'all will read chapter Jeremiah 33. Not now because it might be discussion. But there's a promise of restoration of Israel and Judah. And I can't remember the exact scripture, but I do remember when it says there will be a point when you won't even have to preach to your brothers and whatever, because I'm going to change
That's the
it.
covenant.
And he's spreading the word himself. He's doing that as if from back when I remember reading it, it was like, wow, he's literally, and this is when I wasn't even awake, and I was thinking of the Israel people, that wow, he's going to change these people by his power. He's literally going to change them and make them righteous in his eyes.
What is this scripture?
This is it's either Jeremiah 33 and maybe part of 32.
Because it's not the one where he's saying he's going to put his word in our hearts.
Yeah,
So
that's
we don't
right.
have to
That's
31,
part of it.
31.
It's like 31 through
That's
33 is the part
The
that
new
is
covenant
like
was
really
covenant.
Jeremiah
We're not there yet.
31.
it's blowing my mind about what he says he's going to do.
We already there.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, we good?
Keep going.
Oh, keep going. All right.
You're almost there.
All right, I'm almost there. All right, so Deuteronomy 30, 15, and 16, and Deuteronomy 30, 19.
Yeah, that's the same. Choosing evil. It's the same chapter that I was reading.
30, 15, and 16, and then 19.
15 and 16.
15.
Oh, I got this. All right.
All right, who's got that coming? 15 and 16.
Con? See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. And that I command thee this day to love Yahuwah thy Elohim, and to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply, and Yahuwah thy Elohim shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it.
Right, so there it is right there. Between Bethel and Hai. You're between. Choose ye this day.
Right.
Go ahead, 19.
19. And I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Therefore choose life, and that both thou and thy seed may live.
There you go.
Yeah.
Choose life. He put it before us. He's going to put it before us.
That's what I was saying before. It's only two kings.
Yep.
Hasatan and Yah. There's only two.
No, I think you might have missed something. You should have put in.
Where?
What did we miss?
I think you should have put 11 and 12 also. It edified what it is, and Yah's what he's saying, that it ain't far away from us.
Okay.
I just think it'd be good scripture.
All right, read it. Read 11 and 12.
Read it?
Yeah,
Okay.
read it. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta take my glasses off. For this commandment which I command thee this day, if it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in the heavens that thou shouldst say, who shall go up from us to heaven and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? Neither is it beyond the sea that thou shouldst say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? Oh, but I'm sorry, I gotta go 14. But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayst do it.
It's right there. It's right here. Yep, it's not there.
Yep. So that whole thing, nobody can keep it, nobody can this and that. Right.
You just don't
Deception.
Very easy.
Matthew 6, 24.
Damn.
Them horns, boys. Look at them horns. Go ahead.
All right.
6:24. Matthew.
No man can serve two masters. For either he will hate the one and either love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and men.
That's a popular script right there. Yep. Choose. You can't serve two masters. You cannot. Can't serve two masters. And then when you look at that, that master can be anything in your life. It doesn't have to just be the devil with the hook. That's not what that is. Those are those things in your life that you covet, or those things in your life that you hold in higher esteem than the Most High.
But I see
just pray over it.
Wives, children.
But I see it so clear, even in how we, even with COVID-19, right? I've seen the laws done away with people who say it's too hard to keep. I've seen them stepping, marching to perfection.
Absolutely.
With the face mask, with the gloves, the 6 feet, staying inside your house. I've seen some obeying Negroes. I've seen some people obey.
Compliant.
Yes. Compliant to Babylon like never before. And it's crazy because, again, it's the life and death. So Babylon is telling you what to do to avoid death.
You're
and
on
after
it.
Babylon is giving you death.
Right.
And the Most High said, obey me, and I will give you life, and you disobey the Most High. So Babylon
Or it's too
is
hard
the
to
master.
obey the Most High.
They serve this nation. This is their tie to it. This is their God. And they're going to march step into the death. Like Babylon's going to lead them straight to hell, to destruction. And people are like following, like marching, like obedient. I'm like the most raggedy, big mouth people I have ever seen, talking cash junk, peeking out of windows. They peeking out of windows. They mad because it's opened up. They don't want to come out. They still don't want to come out.
They still don't want to come out.
I'm like, these spirits gonna attach. But anyway, again, it's just the disobedience because that's the master that they serve.
And my thing is, like, what has changed since COVID hit? Now that everything's ready to open up.
Right.
What so miraculously changed that now it's safe to come out?
Right.
What?
Remember the lady at the token booth thing
That
today?
economy.
She had the mask on And the plastic thing.
Yeah, she had on the shield.
Wear the shield. There was a guy that was
I have to wear that at work.
that looks crazy.
And if you have
You
your
heard about
shoes
the
on, you don't
scientist?
need a
You hear
mask.
about the
I have
scientist?
mask
The scientist,
on,
he
with an N95 for 8 hours.
he was
Goggles
the
on top
study.
of my glasses.
Oh, all right.
And when I go in
Let's
the
go to
room,
Genesis
I have to have
12.
The whole shield on.
Genesis 12, 9 and 10.
Getting hot. Genesis 12.
That's true.
Yeah.
Genesis what?
12, 9 and 10. I'm going to read it. And Abram journeyed going still toward the south, and there was famine in the land. And Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. All right, so now, here's my question for you. Why would Yah give Abram a land and then send a famine? That doesn't seem right to me. He said, this is your land, this is the land I'm giving you, and then he sends a famine in that same land, and you have to leave. Why would he do that?
Get rid of all the Canaanites that was in there.
Nah, it was time for the land of rest.
Okay, that's it. Okay, who else?
Because he had to fulfill the prophecies that were spoken for.
Okay.
Talking about Joseph.
He's gonna get a lot of riches. Gonna get a lot of.
Is that to drive out the other people?
Oh, okay.
That's not test.
At this time, remember, he had Lot with him when he went down to Egypt. When he came out of Egypt, that's when him and Lot separated. So he couldn't give him the promise at that point. All right, the promise couldn't be fulfilled because Abram didn't hold up. What was it contingent upon? That he leave his kindred. He leave his family, leave his kindred behind. So he had to find a way to separate Abram and Lot. Because if there wasn't strife between Abram and Lot,
They would have stayed together.
who knows if they would have ever separated? We don't know that. You don't know the answer to that question. No one does. But they might have just stayed together if there wasn't strife.
Yeah.
And when they went down to Egypt, they got more stuff. They got more stuff down in Egypt. And then when they got back to the land couldn't sustain both people. And they had to separate at that point.
You know what's so funny? It wasn't a problem between Lot and Abraham.
It was
between their herdsmen.
Their herdsmen.
Right.
Their herdsmen. But what was the solution?
Separate.
Separate was the solution.
Apart.
That was the solution from the beginning, though, actually.
Absolutely.
The solution from the beginning was separate. So, sent the famine in the land, got them out of the land, got more stuff, got back to the land couldn't sustain both of them, they had to separate. And then at that point, that's when Abram was able to, that's when the Most High appeared to Abram, and then he was able to walk the land of the promise.
Right.
Okay? He had some extra baggage with him. Who else went through a famine? Oh, who else? Who else had to go through a famine in the land and they had to leave?
We all did.
Jacob did. Yeah, Jacob did.
7 years.
Yep, Jacob did. They had to go down to Egypt where Joseph was already the second in command. They had to go down into Egypt.
Isaac and Rebecca.
Yeah. So they had, it almost sounds like a repeat.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like the same story. It sounds like I'm watching, like, remember those soap operas, like Young and the Restless and those? And they got these stories of these families, but they're like the same. Yeah, and then years later, the same story they're recycling again and again. It sounds like the same
Where do you
thing.
think they got it from?
Oh, man. So, yes, Jacob had to go through the same thing with, they had to leave the land, go to Egypt. The same thing is the pattern. And then they came out of Egypt as a nation.
Right.
They came out of Egypt as a nation.
With great substance.
With great substance. And when they came out of Egypt, they came out with more stuff. Yeah, the same thing. And then
when we come out of Egypt, we coming out.
you coming out with great substance.
So
Absolutely.
you gonna have your chickens?
I'm good. As long as you tell me that, I'm comforted. I feel good. I feel good about that.
We'll make a screen book bag, man. I'll put a couple of chickens in the bag.
There you go. We can go ahead.
So how do we do that if we go to Africa now?
How do we do what?
How do we
Come out with great substance?
You don't.
We don't.
Yeah, but it doesn't
Have
say
your money.
come out with great substance doesn't mean that you're going to have it in your hand when you leave. I don't believe that means that.
Yeah.
I don't believe it means that you're going to come out with wealth in your hand when you actually
did it,
leave.
but
I
they
don't-
actually
That's the
did it,
picture.
though.
That's what happened. That's the pattern.
They spoiled the people. They had all of their. They gave them their jewelry.
I got something
They
else.
Hey, man, you saw the pattern? I'll get in the kid.
That's why I be fussing.
We gonna come out.
Yeah.
with the
And they
most high.
said it
Yeah.
verbatim.
What's more rich than having the
I don't
most
need a
high?
destitute tent. I could put some
But now,
clothes
what
on it.
about what the substance mean? What the substance
Maybe, I mean, maybe we will be carrying stuff out. You know,
what does substance mean in Hebrew?
that word substance, I don't know.
Yeah,
Got them
don't.
smartphone.
No, I'm just saying, don't take substance
But I
as
thought that's what
I mean,
it
stuff.
our translation.
But if you look at
But we
in
look at it
Iman, if you look at the pattern, when they left Egypt, substance was stuff.
Spoiled them.
Yeah, substance was stuff. So if it's that same pattern, then maybe it is.
Right.
Maybe it is that we actually leave with stuff. Maybe it's something else. Maybe the substance is something else. I don't know.
They probably everything they stole, we're gonna take it back.
What else could it be?
I always looked at it as we would leave, we would get to the land, and they would bring it to us. That's how I looked at it.
Okay.
Is that they
That
would bring
works for me.
tribute. You know how when one nation serves another nation,
right.
and that nation has to bring tribute to that
Yeah.
nation?
It says that in Revelation too, right?
That's how I looked at it. As they would bring tribute to us. They would bring all of our riches, everything that they stole.
That was
They would bring it to us.
Also, our land is desolate, right? You would take that and build it up.
Not in
Right.
the wilderness.
That's how.
Build the gate.
Right. That's how I looked at it. But that doesn't mean that's correct.
But that's
Part
a
of
good
that.
one. I didn't think of that.
Who would be building like this?
Oh yeah. Like, come on now. I want that bigger. No. I want 3 stories on my house. Come on, y'all.
He said mansions. Put a mansion. I need 4, 5.
Go ahead, hurry up. I'm gonna have to sell you to the Saints.
means,
Hurry up.
It means existence.
You know them Toll Brothers. You know them Toll Brothers. I can sell you right to them Toll Brothers. You don't have to go to the Toll Brothers. You know what they gonna do.
There are people far off.
That's right. They tall cats. You know. Yeah.
Way worse than they were.
Yeah.
Yes,
How could you be worse than that?
Okay.
Right.
They did some stuff to us.
But it's fine. It's fine.
These
They
people
can
worse
go.
than
They can go. We'll
And
send
then
it.
that goes along with the script, out of Egypt I called my son. Hosea 11:1.
Yes.
That happened multiple times in
Yes.
script, that his people, his son, if you look at Egypt, if you look at Israel as his son coming out of Egypt,
That's right.
he called his son out of Egypt.
Right.
He called his son Abram out of Egypt.
Yes.
He called Yahushua out of Egypt.
Yes.
These are same things that are happening over and over and over again.
Pattern.
He's called us out of Egypt.
Yes.
So there's a reason for us to be in Egypt. So I want you to think that. He's going to call us out of Egypt, but there's a reason for us to be in Egypt.
In Hebrew, substance means existence.
Existence. Ooh.
Well,
Go a lot of ways with that.
Yeah. I'm reading it. It says it means property as gathered, good riches, substance, goods, substance.
That's in Hebrew? Or?
That's in Hebrew?
He reading the descriptions.
This is the definition.
Oh, that's the definition too?
Hebrew.
So it could mean just stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we getting the stuff just like
And the
they
definition
did.
is
We gonna get
from passive principle.
all the riches that those
Property
royals have that they
gathered.
stole from
They
Africa.
stole.
Riches,
They stole.
They stole all that stuff from
Stole
Africa.
52
All that gold,
52
them diamonds,
And
all
then
that
some,
stuff.
according to the law, whatever you stole, don't you have to be stored like 5 times? 7 times or 5 times?
It's
Yeah.
5,
It's 5.
something like
I
that.
thought I saw 7.
Huh? What'd you say?
That's when you store 7 times.
I said maybe the Ark of the Covenant might show up.
There you go. Like, that's where that thing was.
That thing in your
Yeah.
basement.
What was it? I'm sorry. What was it again?
That thing was in your basement the whole time.
74.
All right, Genesis 13, 14 through 18. And Yahuwah said to Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art, northward and southward and eastward and westward. All right, so Lot, get out of here. Take that veil away. Once that veil is taken away, then I want you to look, and you can see everything that I've given you. Abraham was the son of promise, and Lot was the son of the flesh. Those two had to be separated. Lot represents the son of the flesh. Once the flesh is removed, you can enter into the land.
Circumcision?
Whoa.
Yes! Somebody,
Whoa.
yes! Circumcision.
That's why.
Why was the sign of Abraham's covenant circumcision? Because when the flesh is removed or cut away,
Yes.
then you can come into the promise.
Right.
That sign was chosen as his covenant sign for a reason.
Hallelujah.
And this
And
is
that's
also
why-
again played out
Yeah.
with Isaac and Ishmael.
That's why y'all said.
You got a son of promise
Right.
and the son of the flesh, or the son of the bondwoman.
Yes.
Okay, you have those two sons, and they can't be together.
Right.
Sarai or Sarah at that time
Yeah.
said, "Got to go. Sorry, you gotta leave."
Separation.
Because
Yeah.
she was in her flesh and so was Abraham, right?
They definitely both were. They messed that. They both messed that one up. That was a double team. They both messed that one up. And somebody should have said like, "Yeah, I don't think this is the best idea." But
No problem.
back then, I don't know. Sleeping with your what's the name?
It-
Handmaid was. A lot of them did it. Yeah, they did it a lot.
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
Quick. Job 2:13, it says, "Rend your heart and not your garments,
Yep.
and turn unto Yahuwah your Elohim, for he is gracious, merciful, slow of anger, and of great kindness, and repentance of the evil."
Good.
So the circumcision will be really of your heart.
Yeah. And this actually even goes back to what Ima Pam said earlier, was that it's a bloodline thing. It's a bloodline thing. And it's proven over and over again in the scripture that those promised people come through a bloodline.
Right.
Because there would be no point in having genealogies in script
Right.
if it wasn't coming through a bloodline. There's no point in doing all of that. If anyone can partake, there's no point in doing that.
Because even sons of Japheth think they're Abraham's sons. I'm like, how do y'all jump over? Like, it's Abraham goes straight down. Like, y'all on the Japheth side. So how you his son?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
they
just
come
so
out of
crazy.
Shem.
But everybody think they're sons of Abraham.
Right.
Right.
They don't come out of that line.
You come from Japheth,
Right.
and Abraham come from Shem.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't make
But you-
sense.
That don't make no sense.
Exactly. It's definitely a bloodline thing.
all-
Now, bloodline by itself doesn't get you there. We know this. We know bloodline by itself doesn't get you there.
Absolutely.
There's some prerequisites that you have to do in order to get there.
Statutes and commandments.
Let's look at Song of Songs. How many times do we look at Song of Songs? How many times do we go there? How many times you been there in your life?
Song of songs.
That was the first time I thought about, what got sex in this thing?
I love it.
Straight intimacy.
Look, this book has everything.
I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I read it, I was just like, whoa, yeah. I was going back.
It's pretty deep. Keeping straight who's talking though is a little
What's
tricky.
this? 5-7?
Well, I know some congregations headed by heathens that have jacked this whole thing up.
Some say it's totally prophetic. It's not even right.
It doesn't have nothing to do with a woman or a
I
man.
am my beloved and my beloved is mine.
All right, who's got that for me? Song of Solomon or Song of Song?
Are you ready?
Yep.
5-7?
Yep.
The watchmen that went about the city found me. They smote me. They wounded me. The keepers of the walls took away my veil from me.
All right, that's that lot leaving you. The watchmen, those are the people. The watchmen. They are the ones that take the veil away. All right? They're the ones, the watchmen. They smote me, they wounded me. The keepers of the walls took away my veil from me. All right.
Son of man, I sent it to the whole house of Israel.
Matthew 27:51.
Is it?
It's
27.
Oh,
This what?
7:15.
At night?
No, the next morning.
It's that late, really?
It doesn't feel like it.
I'm gonna pass out.
We were just happy today. We took our leisurely time.
Yeah, we did.
Everybody was
Inserted every
We
now
had
and
a
then.
service upstairs.
Yeah, we did. We had several services.
Remember, we're talking about the veil being taken away. New covenant application of the veil being removed. Who's got that for me? 27:51.
27:51.
Yep. Matthew 27:51.
Somebody else want to get it? I got it.
I got it. But you go for it.
And behold, the veil of the temple was rent and twined from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent.
All right. So that veil has to be removed from our lives. That veil has to be removed from us, from our households. That's the only way that we're going to get access to the holies of holies. This is why the sign of Abraham's covenant is circumcision, cutting away of the flesh or veil. Without getting too graphic, when you look at circumcision, if you guys know anything about circumcision, there's flesh over the tip of the penis, and it has to be rolled back first. So the flesh has to be rolled back and then cut away. Okay? So that's that cutting away of the flesh, that flesh being rolled back and then being cut away. All right? That's that sign of circumcision. I'm not going to go through all those scripts, but all of those scripts talk about the veil being removed, or the flesh being removed. So before we can pass under that rod, that flesh, we're going to be in this flesh, but the flesh
of your foreskin,
of the heart needs to be removed at that point.
Right here.
That's where you need to be. Yes, your mind, your heart is your mind. Yeah. So all of those things that we desired in Babylon have to go away. Right? Those are the things that can't be before our eyes, or we're not going to be able to pass under the rod.
Right.
For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. Forever. And those scripts that are following are talking about going back to that land being promised to us over and over and over and over again. Speaking of the land that he's given us, this land is the same land, and it's to the same people that he's promised again and again and again and again. He didn't promise it to us and say, oh, they didn't do it, so I'm going to give it to a people that are spiritually them. That's not what he did.
Well, you know.
He said, I'm going to kick them out, I'm going to scatter them, and then I'm going to bring them back. Absolutely.
No replacement theology. No, get away with that mess.
Yeah. So I'm going to kick them out of the land because they can't do this mess in the land.
Right.
I'm going to scatter them because they have judgment that they have to fulfill. But then I'm going to bring them back under my umbrella back in that land.
And we're proof of that.
He didn't say I'm going to take them out and scatter them, and I'm going to bring another people in to take their place.
Well, he did. He said he would provoke them to jealousy with a foolish nation. So he just got rid of them totally and made us spiritual Israel.
Yep, that's the script they go to.
That sounds about it, right?
That's the script they go to, or the wild olive tree.
Yeah.
But if you know anything about grafting,
that was talking about.
If you know anything about grafting, you can't graft an apple tree onto an olive tree. Don't work. It has to be olive tree to olive tree. It doesn't work. And there's only two olive trees. Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. Those are the two olive trees.
Because even the grafting in, that's also abomination. Because he doesn't mix seeds, so it wouldn't be a different nation.
Why would he put a different seed? Absolutely.
So that's abomination.
That would go against his own law by putting a different seed in with. Yeah, it would be a
That's a mingled seed.
He wouldn't create a mingled seed. Oh, but it's a mixed multitude, though. Remember the mixed multitude came out of Egypt?
It ain't a mingled seed.
It was a mixed multitude.
It's not a mingled seed, though. It never says the seed was mingled.
Somebody call vocabulary right now. Put Iman on the phone.
There you go.
That's right.
They were in the same pot, but not the same place.
That's right. That's right.
Carrots, potatoes, celery, and onions in the soup. They all work together, but they not all the same.
You had the brains.
That's one of the things that we're doing on Friday nights. The ox on Friday night, we're going through script to be able to defend what we believe in. And part of doing a little apologetics and trying to look at script and what people will use to rebut. When you say certain things, they're going to bring up scripts. For God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son, because that's the one they know. They're going to bring that up.
16.
Right. They're going to bring that one up. So you have to be savvy with the script to be able to combat those things. Especially if in your family, people that have been going to church for, all of those things.
It's usually the same scripture.
Yeah, and they love to say the one about the remission of sins. There has to be shedding of blood for the remission of sins.
Yeah.
And that,
there's no Jew or Greek.
Men to be saved.
There's no more Jew or Greek.
Yeah.
They'll give you that one in a second. But you have to be able to use script to combat those things.
The Hebrews are so brilliant too. So, remember we was watching them young men out there preaching to somebody. The John 3:16 came up. He said, all right, if you ever ordered a pizza, right? I ordered a pizza.
Just the people in the room.
He said, and everybody got to, okay, it's time to divvy up. Whoever ate the pizza, chip in. He said, does that mean all the neighbors? It was like, no, it means whosoever ate the pizza.
Whosoever ate the pizza. Who's in that room?
So it's not everybody. It doesn't mean everybody in the world.
One thing that you can learn from certain camps is when people come against them, what scripts to go to what script to go to. You can learn that. You can learn when someone brings certain things up. Like Sakari. They got a sharp young brother named Hassad. This dude is like 20 years old. This dude is sharp. He's sharp.
Adam Abbott.
You got the Sons of Thunder. That these are more, I guess, on the moderate end of the camps. But these guys know the script, though. These cats know the script.
That's why I say don't count the camps out. Just like you were saying, because we all in this together.
Absolutely.
And we all going to have our differences, but at the bottom line is we all family. So I don't even like bringing them up as some people do as the negative side.
Right.
It's not the negative side. It's like this. We all differ. Everybody got their different flavors. That's all.
And I feel as though if you had a dispute, I wouldn't dispute with one of those brothers on the street in front of all them people out there. If I had a dispute with one of those brothers, I'm taking it indoors somewhere where we can talk about it. I don't want them to see us out there in the street fighting with our own people, talking about they don't know. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that to them. I'm not doing that to them. I'm going to take them somewhere aside where I'm going to say Joseph wasn't the father, but I'm going to do that somewhere.
It's like me and my man.
Right.
I got to go back and I got to see him. He was like, we could bring a couple brothers together. I said, no. Me and you.
Right. Yeah, you have to do it that way.
Me and you.
You got to do it that. You don't want to do it out on the street and come against your own people.
We got to learn that.
That's right.
We got to learn that. Keep it in the family. Keep it around amongst ourselves.
Are we doing
that? Yeah. We do it a lot.
We do it a lot. Oh, the camps.
We do it a lot.
No, but they're not on the streets arguing with each other, though.
No. I'm talking about people walking up saying, "Oh, y'all us though." You're talking about you teaching lies. You're teaching this.
You're talking about Christians. You're not talking about
Christians. Yeah.
I'm talking about people that's woke.
Some woke people. Some woke people are coming up to them.
It's like Venice, moderate Hebrews. So we're trying to separate ourselves, like calling some of us moderates. This and that. I'm like, how can you be a moderate relative? Like you're part of the family or you're not. So don't get into that. But anyway, they're making distinctions, and I feel like they're throwing. Just like they're doing, throwing the brothers that are in the camps under the bus.
Those guys get.
They know
the script. A lot of them know the script, and they can go to a script on the drop of a dime.
Some are cults, some are very cult, and some are whatever. So I mean, it's a mixed bag.
They believe that he was born. from
Some
Mary
are,
and Joseph.
and-
But that's your brother in error, though. Here's how you gotta treat
Yeah,
it.
we gotta-
Here's how you
we
gotta
gotta-
treat it.
Restore
You gotta
them
treat
into
it
their-
like that's your brother
Try to restore.
that's in error.
Right.
So you help that brother.
Absolutely.
You
Don't
work
condemn
with that
him.
brother. You
Right.
don't condemn that brother because
Right.
he don't believe exactly what you believe.
And especially
And
in
you-
front
you
of the
don't
other
do
nations. Like, don't do that.
especially in front of the other
Right.
And
nations.
you
Don't
know,
do that.
Nikemia, when we had this discussion here at a Shabbat before, and I actually respect what you brought forth.
Mhm.
And you said, that these are the brothers that were on the front lines in the beginning, and that as some of the error, yes, but they've done a lot of good, and I respect that.
Yeah.
And
They
you
woke-
made
they
me
woken a lot of
change
people
my
up.
They
mind.
have.
I know almost everybody
Yeah.
came to the camp.
Have
So,
changed my mind
they
about
served the
that.
purpose.
And
They still are serving.
right now, Sakari's in, where is it? They're in, where's the riots happening?
Minneapolis.
They're there. They're there. They're out there. They're holding camp out there.
Yeah.
So you gotta respect that on some level. That they say, all right, there's gonna be a bunch of Hebrews gathered.
Right.
We're gonna go out.
And use this time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you gotta respect that on a certain level.
Absolutely.
So instead of getting caught up with, all right, they believe this and that, and I'm not saying that you take it and don't look at anything else,
Absolutely.
but instead of getting caught up in that spot, just say, that brother was built to do this.
Right.
I may not be built to do that. I might be built to do something a little bit
Absolutely.
different.
Because it is a body, after all. And
Yes.
there's so many pieces to this body.
And believe us, there's some error with us.
Absolutely.
There's some error with us, and we have to
Yeah.
acknowledge that as much as our desire and our zeal is for the truth.
Absolutely.
There's some error in this room,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
and we just have to say okay.
Yeah.
But is our error any less than their error?
No.
Or more.
Or more than their error? Yeah, is our error
It's
more?
all the same.
Exactly.
You don't want
There's
to have that
error.
plank. You don't want to have that plank in your eye. You
Right.
don't want to have that plank in your eye.
So we just have to take it like that and treat them as our brothers.
That's right. Try to
And it's
Those
part
are
of
brothers
coming, it's
out
part
there.
of coming. It's part of becoming one as a family too, because that's what family's supposed to do. You're supposed to have each other's back. You're supposed to.
But I'm not going to be there out there with the nations, like you said,
Yeah,
out there
don't do
dispute
that.
with them, my finger in their face,
Right.
me telling them. I'm
Right.
not going to do that
Yeah.
because I don't think that's right. I don't think there's enough of that.
But
There's
that's
enough
what makes
of us
unapologetics
being not.
so
Yeah.
disgusting. But that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Genesis 13:16, and I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. So he's going to increase our seed. He's going to make us as the dust of the earth. Remember, if this is a promise to Abraham, it's also a promise to his descendants.
Mm-hmm.
So that promise follows suit. And if you look, let's just say, and I'm just saying this for instance, let's just say, well, we know Ishmael, that's Abraham's children, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Huge nation, right? Huge nation of people.
Right.
We know Shem, that's his people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Huge nation of people. There are all these nations that claim Abraham, claim to be his descendants. So that, I mean, he's numbered them as much as the dust of the earth.
It is a lot.
There's a lot. There's a lot of people that claim Abraham to be their father. I don't know if they're all truthful, but there's a lot that claim that Abraham is their daddy. And even though Ishmael wasn't the promised seed, Ishmael is still a seed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what was the promise made to Ishmael?
You would be a great nation.
Why did the Most High have to make that promise to Ishmael?
Because of
Because he
Abraham.
comes
Because of Abraham. Absolutely. He had to make that promise to him because of what he promised Abraham. Right.
That seed.
Yeah. He couldn't break his promise with Abraham, therefore Ishmael was able to benefit from that part of it.
Yep.
Okay, so God wanted to multiply, right?
Multiply.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what about the country that practice birth control and all this?
What was I didn't hear.
Oh,
Yes,
people that
but,
practice birth control? Well, I would say it's wicked. I would say that you're not supposed to do it. If you're really being honest about it, I would say it's probably birth control is something that
You're not
It
supposed to
wasn't.
do
It was never in the plan.
That's where it comes in that we shouldn't be we shouldn't be fornicating. You have to be married.
That's right. That's right.
Okay,
And
so that's
spilling
why
the seed
birth
is
control
a-
came up.
Exactly. It wasn't so much for married folks. It was more for the casual thing, you know.
But you know,
Well, it was also to make us sin against our beliefs because we're not supposed to practice birth control, and the father of lies knows that. So what did they create in our neighborhoods? Planned Parenthood.
Oh, yeah.
And then it went to murder with all the abortions.
The first thing they started with was birth control pills.
but see, that's the wickedness of this country. And when I heard you teach the Noahic covenant, in all honesty, that thing, I was sitting right there, and I'll never forget what the covenant that the Most High told Noah to go be multiplied, how it reverberated. I had to go home. I literally had to repent because I never heard anything about don't take birth control. You know, the church, you didn't hear that.
Absolutely.
And I thought about my life and literally deciding, you know, when my ex and I would just climb the corporate ladder, we looked at each other and said, we're not going to have kids, you know,
career is important.
We said that,
Right.
Woo,
American dream.
boy, that
But you
thing,
see how subtle that is in this country.
I had to
Birth
repent.
control is not.
Yes.
It's you can go to the drugstore and get it. It's just something that is part of the fabric of this country. It's really subtle.
Condoms
But the
don't-
commandment is be fruitful and multiply, and that comes
I thought
in.
Bill Gates said it's too many people though.
And you know, Chinese are doing the right thing,
Goodness, don't even
right?
say
The
his
Chinese.
They're doing the right thing.
They're doing the right thing.
How so? They're killing
Chinese
their
give more back.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, but
Chinese-
now you can only
They're
have
not
one
even
kid.
allowed to.
Yeah, you can only have one kid
You can
now.
only have one child.
Yeah, they're mandating.
Yeah, now you
that.
can only have one kid.
And they kill the girls.
It's
Yeah.
crazy because
Yeah.
you know
They
it's
kill the girls
Yeah.
because they all want
Boys
boys.
and
Because
girls.
the boys are that carry the
Yeah.
seed and
Yeah.
the name and the.
Let's do Zechariah 8:12 and then Genesis 17:7. I think after that, how many is left? Oh boy, still a lot left.
We better.
There's 2 left. Okay.
What you say, Elder?
Not much left.
You said, ooh.
We haven't.
Sometimes I go. I don't know what I be. I just be going.
Zechariah.
Zechariah 8:12.
Let's keep the track.
I'm getting a headache because I ain't eaten.
Oh
I
yeah.
had a little bit of rice.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm not got too much slides.
All right.
It was necessary.
No, we were not.
I'll read it.
Oh, I
You
thought
were
he said,
born.
I thought y'all was.
For thy seed shall be prosperous, the vine shall give her fruit, and the ground shall give her increase, and the heavens shall give their due, and I will cause a remnant of this people to possess all these things. All right.
Remnant. Wow.
Yep, the remnant. So it's in His will for us to produce after our own kind. It's in His will. It's in His will for us to do that. That was the whole thing He told Adam at the beginning. Be fruitful and multiply. Because if Adam produced after himself, what would he be able to do? Subdue the earth. Okay? When he produced after himself, imagine 100,000 little Adams running around. Right? 100,000 of these cats, they would be able to subdue the earth. Right? Yeah, ain't nobody got a chance. All right? So just picture that. That's what he had in mind. That's what he had in mind. Be
No
fruitful.
more birth control.
No more.
It's there, but it's not
Listen,
of Yah.
Yeah. According to the script, it says be fruitful and multiply.
That's what it said.
I didn't say I want to say control your multiplication and start subtracting. I didn't see that one.
Control your multiplication.
One times one.
Make your plan and
Yeah, make your plan and then
pick your child's eye color and hair. type.
Genesis 17:7. And then the rest I'm going to let you do on your own.
And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in their generations for an everlasting covenant between Elohim unto you and to your seed after you.
So he's told Abraham this same thing a few times. He started in verse 12 to verse 13. He keeps reiterating his promises to Abram. Okay? He keeps reiterating those same promises. Genesis 13:17. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I give it unto thee. Right? So everywhere he walked, it was given unto him. Spy the land. That's what he had Abraham do. He spied the land. He looked at the land. Where else does it? We remember spies going out.
Caleb and Joshua.
Yep. Spied the land. Before we entered the land, he had them view the land. Same thing he did with Abram. He had Abram view the land that he was giving them. And that's when he sent out those spies. Huh?
He allowed Moses to see it too. So he allowed him out to look on the west and the
Oh,
east.
that's right. He allowed Moses to do it also. Absolutely.
Elder Nelson and Iman. You guys are spying the land.
Yeah.
How about that?
Right?
He said they spying the land. These two spying the land.
He's spying the land.
Nope, not this one. Nope, not this land.
I mean,
Not this one.
I mean,
Not this one either.
How many years y'all been buying?
That is.
I'm gonna say about 3 years.
3 years.
All right, Genesis 13:18. Then Abram removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which means fat, fruitful, which is in Hebron. Someone look up Hebron for me. And built there an altar unto Yahuwah. Strength or fatness, Mamre.
It's like feeding mammary gland.
Yeah.
Breast, the breast.
Yeah.
That's how you feed
Yeah.
the young.
Yep. Strength or fatness. So he took him to his strength. He took him to the land of everything. And someone look up Hebron for me. Give me the Strongs. Hebron, remember Hebron's where he built the altar. What does Hebron mean?
Okay. So it means Hebron, H2275, Hebron, and it's seat of association.
Association. This is where the Most High associated or became entwined or became, the friend of Abram. This is where that happened, where he built that altar. This Hebron means association.
And also it says
dealing with, friend. Go ahead.
Also it says a place in Palestine, also the name of two Israelites.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. All right. So that's where he brought him to. So he took him from heap of ruins and the house of the mighty one. Then he took him to the land of fatness and unto his association, meaning that's his friend. That's who he's dealing with now. So Abram came out of Egypt, the house of bondage, separated from Lot, the veil or flesh, in the wilderness, and pitched his tent in Mamre, fatness or strength. That's what happened. And if you notice, this same pattern follows Moses. And a lot of the same stops that Abram went to, Moses also went to those same stops.
And he's also said, all the land that you dwell on, I will give to you. Yeah. So while they was probably circling...
Right, circling around the land.
Now, I'm just going to say, this isn't everything about the Abrahamic Covenant. There's more. Abraham's study is, there's so much. There's more. We didn't even get to the promise that he made to Isaac. We didn't even get to him sacrificing Isaac or attempting to sacrifice Isaac. We didn't even get to that part yet. But those are all parts of this covenant, okay? But the covenant is so deep. There's so much to this covenant.
right?
It's amazing we're part of this.
So would you?
I think it is.
So following what you did with the other two, how would you line it up with when you were saying was the covenant given orally or written?
Yep, let's go there. I gotta go back far. Where the heck is the mouse? Yo, Kyle, it's jacked up computer.
Oh, it's jacked up and it got to this far, right? You see, now you want to talk trash. You come from the computer jacked up and it got him this far, though.
Trying to get to the
How
finish
many
line,
hours
though.
we in on it?
Trying to get to the finish line.
Look at the computer while you doing it.
And remember the screen not on. Remember we had this whole conversation. I'm gonna pull up on my phone.
Man,
Pull up on my phone. real quick.
take it off and put it back on, man.
Jacked up.
Man, still a hater, man. Don't be a hater all your life, man. Don't make the game bad, man. Make the game bad. Oh, man. Don't make me have to take Michael Center back their computer, man. You're making me nervous.
Get them Geek Squad on there.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go. Alright, so when we look at Abraham's covenant, was it given orally or was it a written covenant?
Given orally.
It was given orally to who?
Abraham.
It was given directly to Abraham. It was given orally. There were clear terms, right? What were the terms of this contract or this covenant? What did Abram have to do to take part in this covenant?
Be obedient.
Obedience.
He had to leave his country. He had to leave out. He had to do those things in order to take part in this covenant. So those certain actions are those things he had to do. Is there evidence of oral or written acceptance of this covenant? Do we have where he accepts this covenant?
Yes.
Where?
Genesis 3:2-3.
His actions.
No, that's no. That's still the Adamic covenant. I went all the way back just to talk about those topics.
Okay.
Yeah, so those scripts aren't.
Cheat.
No, you can't. Yeah. That's gonna take it. That's gonna confuse you. Yeah, you try. Was there oral or written acceptance of this covenant? Because Abraham wasn't even around in Genesis 3.
Okay,
Did he ever accept it, or do we just assume he accepted because of what he did?
Well, he did.
Because of what he did.
Sacrifice, and his actions.
And he built the altars. So when he built the altar, I would say that's acceptance of the covenant. Because if you're going to build an altar, that means that you are in agreement with it.
And what does the blood represent?
The covenant.
Okay.
The bloodshed. Was there bloodshed for this covenant?
Yes.
Yes. We didn't talk about it much, but what was the bloodshed?
Circumcision.
Circumcision. Remember, circumcision was the sign of this covenant. So the bloodshed was circumcision. And was there a meal, eating and drinking? Was there any meal that he had to have?
Whatever he sacrificed.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't really. It doesn't really tell you that there was eating and drinking involved. But there was definitely bloodshed in this covenant. Remember with Noah, after he sacrificed, he sat down and they ate and they had a big feast. It was the first Shavuot, the first feast of Pentecost.
Oh, wait a second, there might have been a meal in the desert of Mamre when the three angels came.
And they
sat down and ate. He went and got the lamb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you talking about
all
All right. I'll go with that.
Sodom and Gomorrah?
Because we didn't get all the way to that.
Yeah, we didn't get all the way to that part. Yeah.
There's more?
Oh, there's a lot more. There's a lot more with this. I mean, we can spend weeks on this. You can spend weeks on this one. Good. So there is eating and drinking. So when the three angels came to visit him, there was eating and drinking at that point. Yeah. So he hits everything. He hits everything in this covenant. He hits given orally, acceptance through building the altars, bloodshed through circumcision, and then when the angels came to visit, the meal.
Also,
He hits everything. You're right.
Yeah.
You're talking about Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought about.
Yeah, because that was their covenant.
Right, but that was a covenant between him and them.
Between
But
him and
it would be prominent that it would be the same way between him and Yah. Is that he would eat the stuff and not let it go.
Other things that we talked about in the covenant were witnesses.
Okay, sure, Tommy. Let me see. Thomasina had a question.
Oh boy.
No, not a question. She just want to know. Scroll through the lesson scriptures again so she can make. It's going to be a handout. I can email it to her, right?
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
scriptures.
I'll send it. Yeah.
That's what I'll do, Tommy. I'll send it to you. We'll email it.
So after they take
She just wanted to. Oh, that's right. I'm talking. What am I doing?
I'm like,
Live.
She can hear you.
Yeah, I am live. I'm live.
For the sacrifice?
Yeah, I'm live.
So after they're done with the
Wait,
sacrifice,
I
they're supposed to burn it.
Yeah, I'm live. Yeah, she's live. She'll be live.
Foreskin.
Circumcision.
Right, the
I
circumcision.
don't know what they do with the foreskin.
Did they burn it?
From the child.
I don't know. They definitely didn't do what the Moyles do today. I don't know what they did with the foreskin. I'm not sure. It just discarded
It
it.
was, yeah, it would be something that was discarded.
Because remember, you're looking at it as your flesh, like the fleshly part of you. So I think they would just discard it and just get rid of it.
And then it's just something like when you say circumcise your heart.
Oh.
You know, you're getting rid of all the stuff that's inside of your heart that can be contrary unto what he's telling you to do.
All right. I'm sorry that took so long.
Oh, man, that's good, though. That's good, though.
I want more.
This is good.
And can't live by bread alone.
Every word. Some bread right about now, though, too.
We were waiting for them to come down.
They was up there busting it up. They was having their own fellowship up there.
That's why I said blow the horn.
Stop. Y'all could have blew that horn anytime.
We were gonna send somebody
Stop. Right.
So he blew the
We were gonna send Caleb up there. Caleb was gonna go. We were gonna send Caleb to see who was going on up there.
That horn get blown any other time.
Caleb, is it okay to take the land? Can we take the land?
Hallelujah. Good word. Hallelujah.
Yes.
There you go. I might got you crying.
The cleaner though.
Hallelujah.
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 Abba Yah, blessing and honor unto thy name.
Thank you, Abba Yah.
Abba, for you are Kodesh, Abba.
Yeah.
Abba, we give thanks and praise for you for allowing thy spirit, Abba Yah. Abba, to give us enlightenment, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, Abba Yah, all in the same sitting, Abba Yah. Abba, we give thanks and praise, Abba Yah, that you have blessed Abu Yah, our brother Abu Yah, with the information to bring forth Abu Yah to feed the flock, Abu Yah. Abba, we are no longer sheep, Abu Yah, scattered on mountains, Abu Yah, amongst the wolves, Abu Yah. Abba, but you have promised, Abu Yah, and your word has been established, Abu Yah. Abba, we give glory and honor, Abu Yah, for greatness is yours, Abu Yah. Exhortation is yours, Abu Yah. Abba, we will praise you, Abu Yah, and give you all honors and glory, Abu Yah. Abba, continue to fill our hearts, Abu Yah, with thy word, Abu Yah, as we continue to circumcise ourselves, Abu Yah, by thy spirit, Abu Yah. Abba, we give thanks and praise for the blood of Yeshua HaMashiach that speaks on our behalf, Abu Yah. Abba, we give thanks and praise that you have made us prosperous, Abu Yah, in our journeys, Abu Yah, traveling to and fro, Abu Yah. Abba, we give thanks and praise and honor, Abu Yah, for the food, Abu Yah, and the preparation or the preparers of the food, Abu Yah. Abba, we ask you to Cover those people, Abu Yah, with blessings, Abu Yah, continuously, Abu Yah. Bless their hands, Abu Yah. Bless their households, Abu Yah. With much substance, Abu Yah. Abu, that this congregation, Abu Yah, may